Rude.
Mics are live. Mics are live. Welcome everyone to Ultra Prudecast Z episode. Ultra Prudecast Z episode 94. We're just discussing how everyone in A to J is a prude, and yeah, we're all prudes, and Konaru is the biggest prude of all.
I'm not.
We're actually called A to Prude Connections.
A to P connections.
Oh god, that sounds much worse than prude.
It really does.
Anyhow,
I hate that.
I'll circle back around about why we talked about that in a minute. But as always, I'm Manuel, leader of AJ Connections. And as always, Konaru is joining us. Oh, Konaru. I forgot I did that.
Konaru. Konaru. Hi, my name is Konaru, also known as Nyaru. I do podcast stuff. I eat ice cream. Also going to be part of like some online convention thing called IdleCon 2020. Check them out on Instagram, I guess. I'll leave the link for all that. Like, if it's uploaded before the con, because I don't even know. Anyway, I'm just gonna upload this, but yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Wait, when's the con happening?
This weekend.
Oh, well, this will be uploaded before the con, but still, like, that's crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that was that it was happening that soon. It's funny. That's actually a big talk of this topic tonight. But anyways, we'll come back to that. Janet, go introduce yourself. Janette.
I'm Janet. I'm here. Woo!
Yeah, let me put you up a little. You sound a little quieter than everyone else. Okay, I put you up to 169 because I want to be funny.
Hey, you know what? I got an email today that said 420 isn't canceled. I'm like, man, but I live in Texas.
Oh yeah, that's not legal there, is it?
No, it's not.
It's a weird. So they in the last elections, they did something weird that may have accidentally legalized it in some form. Because they're like, well, you can have CBD products, but we don't have a really good test to test if it's, CBD or THC, and we're not supposed to arrest you for low-level possession either way. So I'm like, oh, sweet. It's legal now.
Shit. Everyone in Texas, go smoke. Don't listen to me.
The state attorney was like super mad about it. He's like, look what you did. You legalized weed. I'm like, sweet.
Sounds great.
Hell yeah. It's weird though, because in Oklahoma, like 3-4 hours away from Dallas, in Oklahoma, they have like a marijuana con.
Wait, it's legal in Oklahoma?
I don't think it's legal in Oklahoma. They just have a marijuana con up there. Talking about opening dispensaries and stuff.
They're just gonna do it anyway. Just like, we don't care if it's legal or not.
Have you seen Oklahoma? It's fine.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Oklahoma is like. My apologies to anyone from Oklahoma, but Oklahoma to me has always been like the definition of a flyover state. I don't think I know anyone who's ever been to Oklahoma or is from Oklahoma.
I have family, like distant family in Oklahoma. And my mom came to visit me last year. And because I was working, she spent one of the days, she's like, oh, I'm going to go visit my cousin in Oklahoma. Do you want to ditch work and come with me? I'm like, no. Oh. And I remember I mentioned it to one of my coworkers. I was like, yeah, so my mom wants me to go to Oklahoma. And they were like, but why would you do that? I take that back. Jesse and I went once to one of the casinos up there.
They have casinos there? What is Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Is it this lawless place that has like casinos and weed? I never heard of it.
My grandma goes to like those casinos all like almost once a month. Yeah.
And apparently Norman, Oklahoma is like the donut capital of the U.S. or something.
I've never heard of any of those places. No, and for the record, what I meant is like, I'm not saying because it's like one of those random Midwest states. I know people from Arkansas. I know people from Kansas. And of course Kansas is kind of on the map because of like. Wizard of Oz jokes. Insert Wizard of Oz joke here. And all the Mimel states. You heard of Mimel the elf? If you get, what is it, like Minnesota, Iowa, whatever the other M is, Mississippi. I don't know. Does anyone know Mimel? No, well, Montana. I was actually gonna say fun fact: Ohio and Ohio. I don't know why. I'm sorry, Ohio. I don't know why I brought you into this. Oklahoma and Montana are the two states that not only do I know no one who's ever been there personally. I guess if now I just didn't know this. I also don't know anyone who lives there. I think Montana's way worse than Oklahoma, though.
I don't even think it's that Montana's necessarily worse. It has less than 1 million people.
I know, like Montana has like, I don't think. By the way, this isn't a joke. I think Montana has like, I forgot which animal it is. We'll say cows. I don't know, but I think Montana literally has more cows than people. Is the real joke about the state? Might be chickens. Who knows?
Like my job in Vegas, we had an office in Montana. That is no joke.
Well, I imagine like they probably would want like businesses to open there, and there's probably all sorts of incentives to do it. But who the fuck's gonna move to Montana to work there? You know, because Lord knows they probably don't have like a pool there.
I remember Billings is the biggest city, and I also think the capital city. And I remember my coworkers there being excited that they were getting their first Chipotle in the year of Luigi, like 2016.
Oh my god. The first Chipotle.
Chipotle in San Antonio is considered like white people's Mexican food.
Well, yeah, it's
it is white people Mexican food,
and it's also the place. It's also our generation. Well, our generation. I shouldn't. That's the wrong term. That's the wrong term because I'm actually not one of these generations. It's like the Zoomer version of Jack in the Box, as in it's the current restaurant that gives everyone salmonella, but everyone still goes there.
Wait, Jack in the Box used to give people salmonella?
Yeah, that was like my generation.
Does.
Well, yeah, it still does. But yeah, that was like my generation's big scare. Like it killed people. It legitimately, not to like make light of it, it legit killed people. And then everyone made
Jack killed people?
Yes, people got sick and died from eating a Jack in the Box. Like maybe 2 people, but they killed people. And Jack in the Box ended up coming out with the mascot, the one we all know and love. You know, the Jack character with the you know. Do they even still use him? I don't think they even do they? Okay, yeah. Well, like everyone says that whether that character was invented for that or not, it definitely became popular after that. And then they did the whole the meaty cheesy boys and all the other BS. And then PR won over, and everyone forgot to kill people through bad food. So. Google it. I'm not making this up. These are facts that happened in the 90s when I was a very young child. So, and it's funny because like I actually love Jack in the Box. I'm not gonna lie. It's like
right. I love Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box
Jack in the Box is pretty good.
It's like my taco. Huh?
Their milkshakes are so good.
They are. No, and everyone rags on their tacos, but I love their tacos too. I used to hate them when I was younger.
Those 2 for $1 fried nightmares.
Yeah, but I mean they're cheap and dirty. It's like getting a fucking Little Caesars pizza.
That is the best comparison.
Have you tried the mini tacos?
I haven't.
No, like, they're fun. For like $3, you get 15 of them.
I mean, Jack in the Box's menu's always like unusual. They also have like. They've always had this, by the way. I'm pretty sure this is like nationwide because I do know menus are regional, but they have like this weird like kind of Asian-y menu where they have like their bowls. So I'm like, what the hell?
And the egg rolls. Their egg rolls are some of the best fast food egg rolls.
Exactly. But their menu is just all over the place. And like they serve breakfast all day. They have like, you know,
they know what they're about. They have that like late night munchie menu. They know what they're about.
Exactly. Like to me, because everyone kind of makes the jokes about doing Taco Bell late night runs. To me, it's always been Jack in the Box. That's always been my go-to late night run place. I just realized that, like, I never actually said what the podcast is about or open anything. Chat is open. Like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube. That was a long intro. Consider the pre-show. Tonight we're talking about Jack in the Box and how it makes you sick. But I still love it. I don't think I've ever gotten, like... I remember we had... I don't think I've gotten sick from Jack in the Box recently, but I used to always get sick when I was younger. And it was during that whole scare. So I always wondered if I was just eating bad food, too. And I just, like, to me, it just, like... Well, salmonella is not really a joke. I'm pretty sure if I actually had it, I would like probably get very, very sick. But yeah, I'm like, did I always get like a light case of food poisoning all the time? I just got sick like literally every time I went to Jack in the Box for years, like my junior high years or more like elementary school years, I would get sick, and it's like, is that normal? should I have been alarmed? And I wasn't. But anyway.
So what I'm hearing is you're actually dead.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's not forget that this is coming from the guy who ate bad eggs, like month-old expired eggs a couple weeks ago, and managed to like get a really bad, like, I don't know if we call it a stomach. I got really bad food poisoning. I'm pretty sure that was like, you know, salmonella or E. coli. I probably was like near death, I just didn't realize it. Like, part of me was concerned that I should go to a doctor, but I wasn't about to like go do that, you know, for obvious reasons during all this, because my dumbass ate bad eggs. So yeah, that was a pretty bad mess, and it lasted like a week. It lasted about a week, and I swore I wasn't gonna eat again because I couldn't, like, nothing would stay down. And I don't mean stay down, like, I mean it was bad and everything hurt. Like, yeah. Anyways, I'm dead. I'm dead, guys. It's a zombie apocalypse, and yeah. Did you watch that trailer for Corona Zombies, Janet?
What the fuck?
Yeah,
what is that?
There's a movie called Corona Zombies. We actually showed it on the podcast last. We didn't show the movie. The podcast. I mean, we showed the trailer on the podcast last week.
I want to find this trailer.
It's well, like, there is new footage filmed for the movie, but it's mainly a redub of a movie called Hell of the Living Dead, and another movie called.
What was it? Corona
Zombies. It's by Full Moon. It looks terrible. I still haven't got a chance to watch it. I actually do have a subscription to Full Moon. Full disclosure, I get it free because, like, I'm sort of homies with Charles Band, but that's a whole other story for another topic.
Okay, I'm 10 seconds into this and I hate it. I stopped watching.
No, it also starts. It also gets mildly racist. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's why I stopped.
Okay, so I
was
stop watching.
No.
Yeah, because it starts immediately with they're in Wuhan, and then they're all like, "Oh, the
soup factory."
The bat soup factory. And then there was a line that I'm like, nobody take it out of context. I said last week, and I'm saying it again. There's a line in the trailer that is in the movie as well, where they're mowing down all these zombies, and it's like, damn you bat soup eating monsters. And I'm like, oh my god, they went there, and I my dumb ass, like, I didn't realize that line was in the trailer until I put it on the podcast. I'm like, oops. So yeah, that exists on the A to J podcast, both from the trailer and me repeating it. But we do have topics tonight, believe it or not. Our biggest ones are talking about. Our biggest ones are also going to be talking about conventions that are canceling. There's some big ones coming up. There's some big ones that just happened. Some policies. Did you know Ticketmaster changed their ticket return policy?
There goes my cameraman.
There's a lot of crazy stuff that we're going to talk about, that, like, the changing world that we're living in when it comes to events, and then online conventions and online events, which I say I have views on. We actually did talk about that briefly when we wrapped up a podcast last week. So let's get into it. Janet, before we get into that, though, let's get into our weekly, especially when there's someone new, surviving the Rona. Week 4.
Oh boy.
Week 5, I think, actually.
So I have actually been working from home since before St. Patrick's Day. So I've been working from home for almost 5 weeks already.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I mean, I work for a big pharma company, and they were like, you guys are probably going to be working from home until, like, at least June.
Oh my god. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean...
At least they're keeping y'all... At least they're keeping y'all, like, until June, unlike service workers are either still working or we have to go back once the government ban is, like, lifted.
Yeah, like, I'm lucky that I have a job that I can work from home and still be gainfully employed, but it's just... The last thing we did before they started being like, hey, you really just need to stay at home, was we had a birthday party for a friend. And one of the girls there was really upset that we just, like, kept high-fiving and hugging. And she's like, no, you're gonna get sick. And we're like, it's too late.
It's too late.
We're drinking from each other's cups. We might as well just make out at this point. If we're gonna get sick, it's gonna take us all. But, like, I made my mandatory quarantine bread.
Yes.
Oh my god, I keep making fun. You weren't on the podcast, like, I forgot what week we talked about that. Like, I was making fun of that I'm going to tell you this right now, Janet. I mentioned this on the podcast. I'm going to repeat it to you. A hallmark of human civilization that we literally use, like in our English language, is that we have long since moved away from making our own bread. We literally don't have to do that anymore. We created sliced bread that one buys at the store. It's cheap, it's plentiful, and we literally compare every other big invention to that. We literally do that. We're like, it's the biggest
Manuel,
thing since sliced bread.
You sound just really upset.
No, Manuel, are you just upset that you're not making quarantine bread?
Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently, like we reverted back to like 1862, where we're all like, let's go make bread at home.
See,
what's wrong with making bread though? It's not harmful.
One, bread is gone.
Yeah.
Two, I'm already at home. I have nothing better to do between work and video game.
It's funny because I also pointed out that like I used to work at Subway, and obviously we didn't make bread from the
God.
We didn't make bread from the first step, but we still baked bread. Like we there was a lot of the process that we were still
Subway
involved in.
does not count as making bread.
It really does. I will admit. Like for those who don't know, all those meats we don't slice them. All those veggies we don't slice. Well, we do slice the veggies. Actually, I'm lying. But most of it, like it's already comes prepackaged, already ready to go. But we do bake the bread. The bread comes like we do. The bread comes like frozen in things, but everything...
But do you wait for that bread?
Yes,
to, like, it's
a day long. It's an overnight process. Like we literally, it takes from like midnight. It's a whole day, I guess technically, because if you think about it, because we just do it overnight, because that's the way Subway works. But it's a day long process. Yes, Subway does. I will give it that.
So you get the fresh ingredients, and
I said the one part. The one part we don't do is the mixing. But everything else...
Okay, then that's not making bread.
Janet, help me out.
That is... No. I am with Konaru on this.
Oh my
that
God.
is the equivalent of going to the grocery store, buying that frozen dough, thawing it, letting it rise.
No. We let it rise naturally. Now, that is a thing that...
I also let that dough I buy from the freezer rise naturally.
Yes! It literally says it on like most like of those pre-bred or pre-made dough instructions to give it like time to rise in room temperature before you put it in the oven. That is not making bread, because making bread is getting those fresh like ingredients and then just mixing it together.
You can go to the store right now, buy like some pre-made dough from one of the companies. It says, let thaw overnight, let come to a rise. Bring up to room temperature. Let proof again.
Extra mayo on Scooby sandwiches. Mayo. No mayo. But but what was I saying? It doesn't matter. My point is that stop making bread, everyone. Go. Also,
no,
I'll be real.
You stop being so hurt about this.
I don't know why it bothers me. It really does. It really does.
It's just bread.
Yeah, literally, it's just bread. How is it so harmful to you? Why are you so pressed?
It just makes me so upset. It really does. I don't know why. I'm not gonna lie. It just makes me. It just makes me irrationally angry. I'm not gonna lie. I said irrationally. It makes me irrationally angry. I'm like, everyone, stop making bread at home. This is why. Don't bring civilization back to what it was before we had sliced bread.
I should just have my picture for this podcast be the loaf of bread I baked.
Oh my God! No, fun fact: the picture from Konaru last week was the bread she baked.
Yeah, I made bread. I actually braided it and everything. Really cool.
Well, we braided bread at Subway too. I'm just saying.
No.
Yes.
No.
We braided it for the party subs.
That shit don't count.
That doesn't count. That doesn't come.
Subway
like that.
Doesn't count. Period.
It doesn't come like that. We braided it for the party subs.
Oh my God.
That's four breads braided together. But anyways.
You just don't understand, Manuel.
So, made my quarantine bread. Made my quarantine beans. Already had a rice cooker. Probably gonna make my quarantine cake and my quarantine brownies. Like, the only thing I am doing that I think a lot of people I know aren't is trying to, like, semi-regularly work out.
Manuel, you need to change your name to Boomer Hates Bread.
I'm gonna put that actually.
Bread so much,
but
I made bulgogi like
you made
2 weeks ago. I made bulgogi, and then I went to Costco yesterday, and they had like pre-made bulgogi. I was like, I'm feeling lazy, and I want to try it, so I actually like got like a big 3-pound like thing of pre-made bulgogi, and it was actually really good. Like I was very surprised at Costco for like having
Costco
such.
had it.
Yeah, Costco.
Oh. I was gonna say, don't you guys just have an H Mart in San Antonio?
Oh no! I'm in Denver right now, actually.
Oh yeah, she's riding out the apocalypse in Colorado.
Yeah, just in case like shit really gets bad, like I can head into government like facilities that are in the mountains.
That's true. Good plan.
But there is an H Mart actually here in Denver, so.
I went to H Mart over the weekend to do some grocery shopping, and it was as packed as I've ever seen it, and that seems completely wild.
Yeah.
No,
I haven't been to the one here yet, so.
I don't know if it's also I live in a very like Asian heavy area, so that could be part of it. But all those memes I was seeing, to be honest, like I don't know if this is the same for everyone, but I think the huge shortages grocery stores have had are not really a thing, at least in my area. Like there's toilet paper everywhere again. Everything's we're still hand sanitizer is a little hard to come by, but like I was able to find rubbing alcohol easily today, which I remember I wasn't able to for the longest time, and things like that. But my point is, like, all those memes I was seeing about, like, oh, everyone go to your Asian markets because, like, they're being, like, profiled or whatever the words are, go to there because they'll be empty. That was never the case. Now, H Mart is a bit of a weird one because H Mart doesn't really, well, it does once you go inside, but I don't think it's as obvious that they're so, like, Asian-centric. But, like, we have Tokyo Central, which is a market that is, that obviously has it in its name, and they were always crowded as well. All the liquor stores here, like, are usually like Asian owned, those are always crowded. There was even an Indian market that I thought I could swing by to get some stuff that would be easy. Like, it would be nobody's ever in there. I'm always the only customer in there. It's a tiny ass store. Well, it's not that tiny, but it's really crowded. And it had like 10 people in it, and I was like, what the fuck? It's like none of these like ethnic stores are at all like empty. Those memes are a lie.
I think it depends where you live, because
like
I live not too far from Koreatown, and Koreatown's relatively busy, but I mean it's Koreatown, that's where a bunch of like Koreans around here purposefully live. But a couple weeks ago I went to Mitsuwa out on the edge of Plano.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It was the emptiest I had ever
really?
seen it. Like, there were maybe a dozen people in the entire store, and 3 of them were people who worked there.
Oh man, that sucks. Well, they actually closed our Mitsuwa down. I mean, not like forever, but they closed it, recently.
Yeah, I haven't been to 99 Ranch to see like if it's actually busy or not. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I miss the outside.
I haven't been outside like really in a while. I've been mentioning this for weeks actually, and it's not even like I think I have. I know I have. It's the question of how bad it's gotten. I've definitely become like mildly agoraphobic during all this, and like I'm slowly becoming a Howard Hughes type character. I don't leave. Like, I don't want to leave, and I haven't. Like, I think I went out to a local liquor store to get like some soda yesterday because I just couldn't be bothered to order it because I wanted it now. But other than that one going out, I've literally gone out like 3 times in the past, like, I guess once a week, 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks, which I guess is fair, but there is stuff I both need, like, as in, and I'm just kind of avoiding going out to go get. and I'm relying on like maybe like others bringing it to me, like not so much even delivery services, like friends mailing me shit or just leaving it outside for me or whatever. It's like I've become a hermit. I've become like a crazy hermit. Like I have a chair where like leave it on the chair and go away. Like, you know, like people were making fun of me a few weeks ago when I was talking about the chair, but yeah, it's like leave it and go. Remember that, Konaru?
Mm-hmm.
Konaru, like I'm gonna be real. How much ice cream did you get?
Just only like a quarter
but
of like a
that's
pint.
that's like a giant ass cup, and you've been like eating from it forever.
No, I just eat it really slow because it's like really cold.
Okay, I can't tell. Like I ain't judging.
No, like I'm almost done. Like look at that. You see the bottom.
I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I haven't gone out either. So I don't know. But I also haven't made any quarantine bread.
I mean, you should. Make some quarantine marshmallows. I think that's my next thing.
Wait, quarantine.
How does one make marshmallows?
That's easy.
Want a recipe? You need like some corn syrup.
It sounds like a. I mean, obviously one can make anything. That's how it comes to be. But I didn't know you can make that from home. I thought it required special shit.
No, marshmallows is easy.
I make quarantine s'mores.
Quarantine s'mores.
Yeah. It snowed. It snowed yesterday, so it was like really cold, and we had like hot cocoa.
Yeah, like Alton Brown has a recipe for homemade marshmallows.
What the hell?
You need gelatin, sugar, corn syrup. Yeah, and a stand mixer. What you really actually need is a stand mixer.
Yeah, because that shit gets tough to stir.
I don't have a stand mixer anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, you gotta. Like, I'm gonna make quarantine marshmallows. I might do the quarantine whipped coffee that everyone's doing, because why not?
It's funny because a lot of people are complaining about the coffee situation, because there's a lot of places, I guess, that, like, I think, what was that? Oh, what's up?
Oh.
Is your boyfriend, like, off in the distance?
Yeah.
Tell him to bring me some Southern. Tell him to bring me some Southern Comfort.
Manuel wants Southern Comfort. He ignored you.
He did.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, he has hand sanitizer to offer. 20 a pop. If they're the mini ones, 20 a pop.
Oh my god!
Give me the sandy.
I'll trade that for some Southern Comfort. But no, anyway. So yeah, we've all been surviving. Let's circle back around to Janet. Actually, what have you been doing in your free time? Animal Crossing.
I will play Animal Crossing until like I get the urge to kill something, and then I play Monster Hunter until I'm so mad at Monster Hunter I need to go do something calming like water my plants. And it's just been a cycle of that.
Janet, are you okay?
I know you're just slowly breaking down.
I miss the outside.
It's funny because
it's not just that we can't go outside. It's that like the weather here has also just been absurd. So over the weekend it was like 85, and this morning it was cold enough that we almost hit freezing.
Oh my god!
I believe it.
It's been cloudy, it's been rainy, and then it's been super hot and polleny, and I'm just like, I can't even just walk around the neighborhood.
That's insane. Like I can't imagine. Both of you guys talking about how cold. I mean, it's been kind of cold here. It's been raining, and then again, I can't really talk because I don't go outside. So like,
it snowed in Chicago overnight.
It snowed. It snowed here in Denver for like 2 days straight.
It was mid-April.
It sounds pretty normal.
No, that's wild. I miss my desert.
I know.
My mom was like live streaming driving down the strip a couple of weeks ago because it was empty.
It sounds comfy.
I was like, no, go home. You have respiratory problems.
Oh my god!
Stop it.
I actually can't wait for all this to end to go to Vegas. I was talking to Janet about how I just discovered there's like this Chinatown mall, and not so much that the mall exists. To be honest, I don't. It's funny because I don't actually care about the mall or anything like that. It looks awesome though, for the record. Like the whole Chinatown Plaza area that the mall is in, but inside the mall there's a Sun Wukong like whole thing. There's a statue. There's a whole tapestry looking thing behind it. And then outside, there's a whole statue of like all the Journeys to the West characters, like, you know, Sanzong, like, you know, Bajie, and like, you know, Wukong and so on. And I'm like, what the fuck? This exists in Vegas and has been there apparently for not forever, but it's been there as far as I could have gone. And I'm like, what the fuck? I've never heard of this. And apparently Janette lived by it, and I'm upset. She never told me.
I mean, I lived by the Strip, and I never really went there either.
Well, there was a time I went to Vegas with Kaz where we literally didn't do anything except just like wander around, and it was during Halloween too, but we still didn't do anything. And I think there was legitimately a day that we just drank in the hotel, which is so wasteful to go to Vegas and just drink in the hotel. And we were in a nice...
I think it's wasteful to drink in a casino.
No, well, we weren't in a casino. We were in a pretty nice, like, suite room. And it was really cheap for what it was, but it was off the strip a little. And it was by the convention center.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was by the convention center. And it was off the strip. And it was right by the liquor store, though, that had Kinky. But it was off the strip, and it was kind of in the middle of nowhere. And I was kind of too lazy to, like, walk anywhere. And also, I had just come back from a month in, like, Taiwan at that point. So, literally, like, earlier that week, I had just come back. So, I didn't really want to, like, do anything. I was still super jet-lagged.
No, but that's also when we went downtown and got spooked by the big grasshopper.
Oh, you're right! I forgot about that. So I guess there were some fun parts. We didn't go to Chinatown, though. But that's fucking grasshopper thing. Oh
that
my
grasshopper
God.
statue that just, like, breathes fire every once in a while without warning.
People were laughing at us. We tried to take a picture or whatever. And then it came to life. I swear to God, there was it was just timing, obviously. But it felt like there was somebody in the back who was, like, waiting for us to, like, put our guard really down. And then they turned it on. Why is there no warning? It doesn't, like, word to life and do something first. It just, like, bam, fire, you know? It's like, what the... And then music, loud music. I'm like, what the fuck is this? There was no warning. I don't know. That was obnoxious.
You're obnoxious.
Your face is obnoxious.
It kind of is.
But let's circle back around to events cancellation.
Quarantine bread.
No quarantine bread.
Yes, quarantine bread. What's your favorite recipe to make?
So Serious Eats has a no-knead bread recipe that I tried, and unlike most of them where you can do it like the next day, they actually recommend putting it in the fridge for like another 3 to 5 days. So it takes like all week to make this bread, but it's so good.
Oh,
it was so good when I finally baked it.
I've been making this like... Oh, bless you. I was about to say shut up, Manuel, but...
Oh my God!
It was you. Anyways, I've been making like the sourdough recipe, and my boyfriend did like one of those sourdough starters. Like you just put in like flour, water, and like a little, and like you feed it like every couple of days and everything. And then now we have like infinite amount of like starter, and you make a lot of bread, and oh my God, it comes out so good. I love sourdough bread, so like this is the
Before all this, one of my friends here, Emily, she was really into making bread. So she's just like, now's my time to shine. And then she's like, everyone bought all of the bread making ingredients. Ah!
No, like I've always wanted to make bread. Like honestly, like it's been one of my goals as I like start cooking more and more. I want to make my own bread. So I never had the time because I know it takes like a lot of time.
Yeah.
And everything.
Now's the time to get into pickling. Now making bulk foods and freezing them.
Manuel, do you need to go to the hospital?
You cough first. Don't start.
You're the one that had to be like yourself.
It's okay, Manuel. If you die, we'll avenge you in some fashion.
It's funny.
We'll put a little memorial page on the A to J website.
No, I keep telling everyone, and I'll say it publicly here. If I die, I don't want anyone to like after my death be all like, "Well, Manuel would have forgiven me." No, I wouldn't. If I don't like you right now, I'm still gonna dislike you until the day I die. So just letting you know that I would not have forgiven you. Just letting everyone know that. Who potentially I might dislike right now. I hate that. I hate when people put words in people's mouths after they're gone. I'm just saying that's
right.
That's just
me.
Yeah,
no, I dislike that too. People are like, oh, they would have. No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, no, I wouldn't have said that. I would have kept saying the same bullshit. You know, if anything, I probably would have doubled down because I knew I had to do it fast. So yeah. But anyway, avenge my death.
What the deceased would have wanted. No, what the deceased would have wanted would be to not be dead.
Exactly. That's like what any deceased person would have. It's like, yeah, it's like that's probably the best thing. It's like they would have wanted us to be happy. No, they would have wanted to still be here, but shit's fucked. Speaking of shit being fucked,
dude. Okay, sorry to interrupt, but someone recreated a whole office scene in Animal Crossing, and this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Oh my
I just saw that and I was like, huh.
I'm gonna
you
like.
can't convince me to go to Harv's Island because Harv is weird.
I'm scared of Harv.
I haven't done shit there. Well, Harv's Island looks like the fucking what's that? You know, the casting couch set. Like when people made memes of that immediately, and sure enough, like it looks like it because there's like one chair, there's like a director's chair, and like all these lights, and there's like a couch, like literally, and then there's like a little partition, like a dressing partition. It looks. Are we doing this now? Are we just doing this? Are we getting copyright claim by The Office now?
But this shit's hilarious. Like it's so scary accurate.
Hold on, let me actually. Everyone's probably gonna hate me for this. We'll look at it later. But everyone's gonna hate me for this. I've never seen The Office.
I can't get past the first couple episodes.
Well, it always looked like okay. To be fair, I guess I've watched people watching it, and I was like, wait, this is a show? I was so confused by it.
My friend and I were just talking about this, and she said the best way to experience The Office is through gift sets on Tumblr and no way else.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the actual way you'd have to, which I wouldn't want to do. So I'm never gonna watch The Office. But then again, to be fair, just in case anyone's upset by that, there's a lot of big name shows I've never seen. Honestly, just about all of them.
Yeah. I think I've watched exactly 2 episodes of Game of Thrones. I had no interest in Dexter or Breaking Bad.
I watched a bit of the first season of Dexter, obviously 10 years ago when it was new, or however long ago that was. Never seen Breaking Bad. I did like Game of Thrones, I will admit, but I never liked Friends when I was younger. Apparently that's sacrilege now. But Friends is weird. Friends is the show that that becomes good, bad, then on PC, then good again. So I'm confused what the fuck people like it.
So I watched it a bunch as background noise over the last few years, and I have identified the good chunk of Friends, and there's still a lot of jokes that I'm just like, huh, they sure did let them get away with a lot in the 90s.
Well, it's a lot in general. You can watch a lot of movies from the 90s and be like, oh, man. That's a little...
I mean, even early episodes of, Law & Order SVU, I'm like, oh my god.
Dude, I love watching SVU. Also, I'm getting really dark. Something's going down really fast.
I'm getting really dark. That's very racist.
Speaking of shows in the 90s,
give me a minute.
So my second wedding anniversary is next week already.
Really?
Yeah. That is wild.
Did Konaru ever put on pants?
Probably not. I don't know. She's free to live her life. Time means nothing. Pants mean nothing. But for our anniversary, Jessie got me the Twin Peaks from Z to A set.
What?
Oh, it's her anniversary coming up, and she got it, and her husband got her the Twin Peaks A to Z set.
Z to A.
Z to A. Well, that makes way more sense than what I said. But yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Twin Peaks is a crazy ass show. I love Twin Peaks.
Oh wait, I thought you were talking about the restaurant Twin Peaks.
Oh, so at my last job, we had some visitors come in from our Vermont office, and my old office, down the street, there was a Twin Peaks. And I remember one of them came in and he was like, oh man, there's a whole restaurant based around Twin Peaks. I'm like, my dude, it's like Hooters. It's not the TV show, and I'm sorry. And he looked so sad and disappointed.
Oh, it was probably his favorite show.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. If I saw a restaurant called Twin Peaks, I'd be upset by that too. And if it was just a restaurant.
So I went to one on the 4th of July because my husband and I, we were trying to get back from a big fireworks thing down that way. And we sat there and like we were just having a drink afterwards. And all of the bartenders and all of the waitresses were just wearing lingerie. And I'm like, man, I
wait, what?
Money.
And that was like a health violation.
It was wild.
I just got the reference of Twin Peaks. I just okay. It didn't occur to me.
Yeah, so now we're clear?
Yeah.
Twin Peaks is titties.
And I didn't realize that's why Konaru laughed when she came back about the Twin Peaks thing. Okay.
Yeah, no, Twin Peaks is titty.
It's like, just look at porn at that point. I'm gonna look up Twin Peaks. Hold on. Twin Peaks.
Oh my god, no!
Restaurant.
Yeah, no, it is a restaurant in the vein of Hooters. And I'm surprised that this one is still in business. Although Hooters apparently is like changing their model to just be a chicken wings place instead of like a chicken wings with a side of titty place.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't like Hooters at all, for the record. And I'll start by saying
not that good.
I'll start by saying that, and that's the thing. Like, I'll start by saying that I never liked Hooters, so I'm not going to defend them or defend the way they work or operate. But I am going to say, like Janette just said herself, their food isn't good, and if you take away the other main aspect, actually not even the main aspect of that restaurant, then why bother existing? It's like,
but it's just like with majority of maid cafe. Japan. The food is shit, but you go there for the maid.
Exactly. It's the exact same concept. The point is, it's like if you took away the maids and just made it a cafe, it's like I wouldn't go there. To be fair, I wouldn't. To be fair, for the record, I wouldn't go to either. But yeah.
When I was in high school, I was in the National Honor Society, and the advisor was this nice little old lady teacher that I had. And when we went to Atlanta for a conference, one of the nights we were there, she insisted that we go to Hooters.
Why?
And it turned out she actually just liked the wings. And I remember we got back, and one of my other teachers was like, if I took all y'all to Hooters, I'd get in trouble.
Yep.
But she takes you to Hooters, and it's fine. I'm like, if it makes you feel better, none of us had like a super great time outside of just how weird it was.
I remember I was super annoyed. There was a work party thing that we won at like my work, obviously, and everyone wanted to go to Hooters. Like, legitimately go to Hooters for the food, and I was just like, I'm not going. I hate the food, and honestly, like, if I went to go ogle, first of all, I honestly don't care about ogling women at a restaurant. That's kind of weird. But if I was gonna go to ogle people, I'll just fucking watch porn or something. I don't get I don't get the allure of these restaurants. I really don't. Except maybe to go there once for like the lulz, like similar to going to a maid cafe.
Yeah. So there was, I think, the Palms for like a year had the world's biggest Hooters. It was also the world's shittiest Hooters. And it was just bad. Hooters had that whole ass casino hotel in Vegas for a while.
Oh, it's not there anymore?
They had an airline too, like Hooters Air. You can actually go on like that plane served by Hooter girls. You would get wings.
You get wings from Hooter girls in the air. I don't know, the idea of eating like wings on a plane does not strike me as appetizing.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it's like I'm in the air. They're saucy. It's just a bad
the plane is like just going blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, like I don't really like eating on a plane in general, but eating wings, like that's the last thing I'd want to eat. I don't know. That just sounds disgusting. Also,
there's a whole video on it if y'all want.
What happened to the Hooter? What happened to the Hooters casino? I'm so confused now. Hold on, I'm googling this.
Wasn't there like a Hooters cruise too?
There was a Hooters. The Hooters cruise might still be happening. Isn't it?
The Oyo Las Vegas Hotel and Casino, formerly Hooters Casino and Hotel.
Oh shit! I've never heard of the Oyo. That sounds
it looks like an owl face.
That looks like that sounds like Oh shit! That sounds like what I'm trying to say. Like some boomers in a fucking like boardroom. It's like, let's call it Oyo.
That's literally what it is. That's literally
what it is.
Yeah, like they think it's gonna sound cool because it's like, you know, it's a non-word.
Dude, so they just did this rebranding.
Yeah, I just looked this up too. Like Oyo is the Hooters Casino was around until last year apparently.
Huh.
No, because I haven't been to Vegas in a while, but I do remember when I went there for Otakon Vegas, I went to the Hooters at some point during one of them. Because I went there 2 years in a row, and I went there during well, that con only happened like 3 years, so I went there for 2 of these.
It was a very short-lived con.
But I went to the Hooters Casino at one point to gamble, like not even for the Hooters things. I just was like, we were gambling and I lost a lot of money that night. That's a story for like Manuel's dumbass gambling. I cannot gamble. I don't understand these people. Like, everyone has stories of winning at gambling, and part of me wonders if half of them are lying, because if the internet is to be believed, or if my friends, like everyone I know personally, is to be believed, everyone wins at Vegas, or they only tell you about the one time they won and not the 10 times they lost.
They only tell you about the one time they won. As someone who had to like work with slot machine pay tables, tell you what, they've only won like once or twice. They might win like small amounts here and there, or they might break even. But a big hit, that is like maybe once or twice.
Because like, it always strikes me as weird. Like, everyone I know has won it big in Vegas, but nobody ever talks to them all the time they've lost.
Yeah, they've won once big, maybe twice. I have a friend that when I lived there, he would come visit like every 3 to 6 months, and he would drop so much money that he would just get things comped.
Well, at that point, you're kind of like buying it anyway.
Yeah, but I remember he came out for his birthday one year, had a comped table at a nightclub with bottle service, had a comped cabana at a day club with bottle service. He was playing in the high roller section at the Luxor, and I was watching him drop like $100 a spin on a slot machine, and we were drinking the good scotch.
That's insane.
It was stressful. He is the only person I know who actually went to the Joel Rubicon restaurant to do the $500 dinner and still dropped like $1,500 more on the wine pairing. I'm like, why would you do this?
It's insane. Also, the fucking stream died, which is fine. It'll come back. Just bear with it if anyone's watching. I guess you aren't hearing this, but it'll come back. If you're on YouTube, then you're the lucky elites who get to watch it without the breaks. But you also get to miss the chat. You don't get to call me a boomer in real time.
Yeah.
So watch us live sometime.
Boomer hates Hooters.
Boomer hates Hooters.
Boomer love Hooters.
Boomers do love Hooters.
No, exactly.
That's who Hooters is for. It's for gross old dudes.
Yeah, like Manuel.
What the fuck? I just finished talking about how I don't want to go there for all the right reasons, basically. Well, to be fair,
You sound like a nice guy.
No, I was going to say, like, to be fair, I don't know if this is going to undo everything I just said. I'm not a huge person on PC-ness. I do think Hooters has a place and a right to exist. I just don't like it, and that's just not for me. So I'm not going to be over here like, no, don't go to Hooters because it's sexist. It's like, don't go to Hooters because their food's bad, and I don't feel like ogling women. I'm going to shut up because some of the things I was about to say will probably get me canceled. They're not that bad, but they could definitely be
It's okay. You're already canceled by us, so.
No, like, fuck, you weren't on last week when when our guest who was on started defending Corona-chan, and we were like, oh man, we're getting fucking canceled.
Let's not get there.
So yeah, they started defending Corona-chan, which is, I saw their reasoning, but I'm like, I don't know, bro, that's a little too far for me. That's not for me, dog. Like,
not for me either.
Cue the Randy Jackson. But yeah, I'm like, ooh. So don't get, like, there's a line I'll cross when it comes to partying when this is all done, but people cosplaying Corona-chan at them is not part of it.
That's definitely not it, dog.
Yeah, I was making the joke that we could drink Corona maybe, but then I came to find out that they stopped making Corona a while back. So I'm like, fucking hell. I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was temporary. That's the way they made it sound on the podcast. But I looked it up, and I guess they're just not going to make Corona like indefinitely. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I mean, I get it.
It's still insane.
It's just I get it. Well, it's like in Archer, when ISIS was like a really big problem, they had to like change the name of the spy group in the TV show.
Were they called ISIS?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, shit.
And then like they actually had some episodes where like they're like, oh yeah, we can't be called this anymore. And I forgot the reasoning, but I remember they stopped being ISIS.
Well, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. Like, for those who don't know, though, coronavirus, this strain of the coronavirus is obviously new, but the coronavirus has been around for a very long time. Like, have you ever seen those? Have you ever seen the memes? Well, it's been around. Like, people will say it's been around since like humanity's been around or something like that. But people have made like, like all the boomer videos that like they were like, where like the Lysol can says it works against like preventing coronavirus, and it's been there for years, and it's all like, yeah. It's like, this means that they knew, and I'm like, yeah, they knew because it's always been here.
Yeah, this is just a particular strain of a coronavirus, which is just like saying that Steve over there is a particular Steve of the human race.
Exactly. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. Let's move on.
We actually had things to talk about today.
We actually did.
Know what they were.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually put it up and I was trying to segue to it, but then we started talking about Twin Peaks and Hooters, and I just okay. Last thing about Hooters. I should have just changed it to Hooters because I'm like, I feel like we're just doing that. Like, I probably shouldn't say his name, and I won't. But for those who follow ADJ Connections for years, you may know that we've had a lot of Holo Project interviews over the years. Holo Project being an idol collective. We've interviewed Morning Musume twice. We've interviewed Anjuramu. We've interviewed Cute. We've interviewed, by the way, Rip Cute because not around anymore. We've interviewed.
Oh no.
Yeah, we've interviewed who the fuck else did we interview? Juice. So we've done all these Holo Project interviews, all these idol groups over the years, and the guy who's, well, to be fair, we still do it. It's not like he's the only person we've ever had contact wise, but the guy who helped us out in the early days has since moved on from Holo Project or Upfront, and he works for a company that, as far as I know, only does PR for Hooters World event. Like, because they have like a Hooters, like a Miss Hooters World, basically. And so I get all the PRs from Hooters like these days through him. And it's wild. And I've wanted to ask, like, can we interview the Miss Hooters or whatever? Because one year it was somebody from Japan, and I'm like, that's relevant enough. I've never been to a Hooters in Japan, by the way. So I have no idea if it's like better food or not. I doubt it.
Yeah, it's like, is it better? Is it worse? I'm so intrigued.
Like I went to a Shakey's in Taiwan. Well, I think there are Shakey's in Taiwan, but I didn't go to one. But I went to a Shakey's in Japan, and the Shakey's in Japan was wild. They had okonomiyaki pizza. They had like tuna and pepperoni pizza, and like shit like that. So whether it was good or not is another story. I tried some of the unusual pizzas, at least to me, as you know, an American. But they were different, and they also had rice and curry there. But yeah, it's just all wild. It's like, and I'm like, what the fuck is this place? And it was full of middle school kids. I remember Heidi was telling me later on after she moved there, that place was like a middle school hangout. So I guess we didn't know that when we went there. So we were like the oldest people there, and it was all a bunch of kids. But we were also drinking, so we probably just looked really weird. But we're foreigners, so we get away with everything. So, but then again, the two people that were with were Asian, so they probably couldn't immediately tell they were foreigners. So, shit, I just look stupid. Anyway, yeah, we get Hooters updates from the Holo Project guy. So, the person who basically helped build A to J now talks to us about Hooters on the regular. So, even though that topic came out of nowhere, we're actually very Hooters related still to this day. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I got so crazy there. Anyway.
Why are you yelling at us about Hooters, old man?
Old man. Let us know in the comments below if you like Hooters and if you like their wings,
or if you don't like Hooters, which is correct.
I
mean, like, Buffalo Wild Wings got better wings than Hooters.
I actually prefer. I'm not a big fan of wings at all. I mentioned this before. Like, wings are my least favorite part of a chicken to eat. I just like to work for my meat.
No, wings is so good.
I'd rather eat a breast if I was going to eat chicken, especially if I eat white meat. I'd rather have a breast.
No, there's like, we go to Rice Chicken a lot because they make really good, like, Korean chicken wings. God, they're so good.
I'll get boneless wings.
Chicken.
Oh, I want.
That's just nuggies.
I know. I see the memes where it's all like,
"Shut up." No, don't call me out like this.
I mean, I also like a good nug, but that's just nuggies.
Oh man.
They're sauced nuggies, okay? Nuggies I like to dip, but wings already come pre-sauced.
Do you guys want to hear about my horrible nuggie crimes?
What did you do?
So, sometimes when I am feeling down, Jesse will buy me like a 20-pack of McDonald's chicken nuggets just for me.
I love it.
And I slot load them. No sauce.
Okay, I do that too, though.
I eat like the 20. If you leave me to my own devices, I will eat all 20 of those nuggets, no sauce, in about 5 minutes.
Not gonna lie.
I have done the 40-pack before, and it was a mistake.
No, I was gonna say, I'm not gonna lie. Never like at home really, but there's a convention. I went to AX not last year, the year before, 2 years ago, and we didn't order 100 nuggies. We ordered like 60, or it might have been 80. Actually, I think it was 80, and it was between me and just one other person. And I didn't quite eat my 40. I will admit this, but I legitimately like threw back shotgun like 30 plus on my own. And mind you, I was wasted, so it both felt amazing eating them because I was like kind of hungry, needed like something to like sop up the alcohol, but I also felt very, very sick.
Very sick. We had people over once to just like hang out when we lived in Vegas, and a couple of them showed up with 100 nuggies.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was the best.
I remember there was last year at Anime California. Wesley's here actually in the chat. By the way, Wesley, he commented earlier. Boomer screams at middle schoolers about me being at the.
That should just be the title.
That weird
that should be just the title of the podcast, like
Boomer screams at middle schoolers. But fuck, what was I saying? What was I talking? I literally forgot. I totally blanked. Oh, nuggies. So last year at Anime California. Rip that con. I doubt it's going to happen this year. Not just because of the Corona stuff, but also because the people who run the con also run Hentai Con, and like that's a whole shit show about refunds, and that happened before the Corona thing ever happened. That's a whole other story. But at that con, actually, Weston was there. We ordered 100 nuggies there, and it was weird because the app we ordered. I mean, we ordered through Uber Eats, but the McDonald's we ordered from in the app. They had 100 nuggets for $20, like $19.99, and I was like, "Do the people order that enough that it's already as a menu option? Like, we didn't have to put like 20, 20, 20, or whatever. It was like 100 nuggets, $19.99." Because because I showed it to Nestor, who's been on the podcast before. I'm like, Nestor, look, they just have 100 nuggets for $20. He's like, and he was wasted. He's like, I'll get them for you guys, and he threw it down like $20. But yeah, so we ordered 100 nuggies. But there was,
I forgot my other.
Like 6
I want to order 100 nuggies. No, you know what I did? No, never mind.
Oh,
I did that.
I forgot my other quarantine thing. I too have definitely bought a jigsaw puzzle and worked on it.
Oh my god, I actually saw that.
I haven't done that yet.
And I was gonna call you out on it because I was like,
nope, I've got like 2 more coming.
It was cats. It was cats.
What's the count for the?
So this first one I did was 300, and that was the one I did yesterday, and that was a Monster Hunter one. I have one of like the Hokusai Wave, and that's 1,000 pieces, and it should be here in a couple days. And I just put a bid down on a Kingdom Hearts 1,000-piecer, and I'm looking at this like super rare Metal Gear Solid like promo package that came with a poster, and I'm like, I don't need to spend $150 on this. But
how are puzzles rare? That's weird. But
it was for Peace Walker, and it was part of a promo set. So it has like a water bottle, the poster, a puzzle. Like I have never seen this item before, so
I didn't even know I didn't even really realize puzzles were still being made. I guess it makes obvious sense, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean
licensed puzzles. I should back up and say, obviously, like generic puzzles will always be made, but I meant like licensed puzzles.
There's a ton of licensed puzzles. Like that's actually a big thing with millennials is they abandoned the adult coloring books and moved on to puzzles.
Oh, dude, I missed the adult coloring books. I actually have several. Like, where's the one I can't see it because like it's lit right here, but my light is too bright for me to look into. But I have a Journey to the West coloring book I bought in Taiwan that was fucking expensive. It's like a thin coloring book. It's pretty, there's a few pages in there, but it's pretty thin, and it cost like $25. Because it was like I can't remember the name of the brand, but it's basically the equivalent of me buying like like. What the hell's an expensive like brand? What's that brand that does like handbags? They also do like color pencils and other shit and playing cards. Help me out here. It's a handbag brand. What are some of the famous handbag brands? I think it is
Prada,
Coach. I think it is Coach. I'm pretty sure it's Coach. That you could buy like Coach color pencils like $120. You could also buy playing cards for like $60. Yeah, I believe it is Coach. Coach has a Coach. Yeah, Coach has the Coach on the logo. Yeah, I'm 99% sure it's Coach. And you could buy like Coach products.
Coach has colored pencils. What is this?
And
so does. Okay, I went to the Louis Vuitton store in Japan, and they had like Louis Vuitton color pencils and a volleyball, and I thought it was hilarious.
Boomer hates puzzles. Putting this up there.
Boomer hates puzzles.
No, keep it. The Boomer hates bread. Yeah, Boomer hates puzzles and bread. It has to be that.
I really do hate bread. No, I'll leave it bread because bread legitimately does make me. It makes
Why
me
does it make you angry though? Why? Why are you so pressed about it?
I honestly don't know. It's irrational, but it makes me like legit angry. Like
is it you have so much built up emotions from stuck inside that I think you're just letting it out on bread.
Poor.
It's not bread's fault.
Has anyone
it's
ever
not
seen
bread's fault that you're so emotionally pressed?
Has anyone ever seen Night of the Living Bread? It's like a parody movie, obviously based on Night of the Living Dead, but there's like bread. It's black and white, and like there's bread killing people.
Shut up, Boomer.
I watched that on TV when I was a kid, and I was so confused. And when I say a kid, I mean like young elementary school as a kid. And I had seen Night of the Living Dead earlier that week. I think this is during the AMC marathon back when it was cool. People don't remember this, but when I was really, really young, AMC, I don't know if it was I don't know if it was a premium cable channel back then, but they didn't have to edit their movies like they do now. There was no commercials during them, and they would show them mostly unedited. I don't think there was like nudity would be there and whatever. But they showed Night of the Living Dead, and then at some point, like throughout that like week marathon thing, they showed Night of the Living Bread, and I was so confused and mildly scared at the same time. But I think you can find the whole movie on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, maybe that movie scarred me for life because I do remember like I've never forgotten watching that movie, and as I got older, I remembered that movie more than I remembered Night of the Living Dead, even though I did see that as well. So I hate bread. Bread's a bad thing. Don't eat. I actually like bread. I like bread eating it, but it has to be store-bought sliced bread. Don't make bread at home.
No, you have so many bottled up emotions that you're taking out on bread for no reason.
Like I make it because I don't usually keep bread in the house. When I buy bread, I make it a point to go buy like a nice bread.
Well, same. Yeah. I mean, like, but still. I let it go earlier, but when you mentioned that one bread that took a week to make or however long it took, I was like, this is why we don't make bread at home anymore. We don't need to spend that time.
Actually, we can choose to spread. We can choose to spend that time doing that, but that's like our own choice. Why are you so pressed about other people's choices that don't affect you?
The other thing is that it wasn't like I was actively messing with it for a week.
Yeah,
I spent like 5 minutes, let it set, put it in the fridge, and then like 3 days later, it's like, ooh, time for bread.
Yeah, it's not like it's kind of like cheese. Like it's funny because I make all this. I talk all this shit, but I've actually made cheese before, and
oh, fuck off!
And cheese
so you're out here like bread, bad. I'm making cheese.
Boomer really hates bread.
But cheese actually is a much longer process too. But
yeah, like cheese is forever, and you harping on us about bread. There's like 500 cheeses available in your store right now, and you're like, I make my own cheese. But you weirdos are making bread.
Okay, I want to stop. I'm just digging my own grave here. Stop making bread.
No. Do what you want, because a pirate is free.
I just got here and Boomer hates bread. No joke. I'm sorry. I don't know when you said that. I just got here. I don't know if you're who is this person? Yeah, I don't know this person. I don't recognize the name, so I don't know if they're a regular viewer or they literally stumbled across us. But seriously, I hate bread. I like how this is becoming a thing. This really has to be the topic of because this keeps me back.
Is it leftover Subway feelings?
I'm not gonna lie. I think it might be. Like I fucking just can't stand. We don't need to make bread. We've moved beyond this society.
The thing is, why are you so pressed about it? I don't understand.
No. Okay.
Like, why other people making bread, how does that affect you in any way? Is it making you sick? Is it making you, like, hurt? I don't know.
I said this already, but literally, whenever something big and new comes along, it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's the best thing since sliced bread. When we say
that is something a boomer would say. That
I'm not gonna lie.
No one says it. No one says that anymore.
People still say it. Boomers say it.
You're just aging yourself, my dude.
I am. I feel like whenever I start this argument, this is my what is it like? Old man yells at cloud. This is my old man yells at cloud argument. It's like we're all allowed one, and this one's mine. Stop making bread. Everyone, stop making bread. Stop it. Like
everyone stop making bread at the same time so that like we can take turns making bread.
Yeah, or just do like a sourdough starter. That's literally all you can like have like infinite amount of like ingredient to make.
Let's move on to the actual topic. I'm just gonna keep yelling about bread the whole time.
I don't remember what the actual topic was.
Yeah, we do have.
What was the actual topic?
One thing I do miss during all this is I really loved Cheesecake Factory sourdough. Was it sourdough bread? The
bread that they served at the beginning of like your dinner or whatever.
Yeah, I miss that bread. And I
haven't been to a Cheesecake Factory in like 6 years.
Well, I went to one last year.
Well, like my family has kind of been turning that into our go-to like birthday place. And even though I don't see most of the family members I celebrate their birthdays for throughout the year, I typically go because it's an excuse to go to Cheesecake Factory. I just like their bread. Their food's okay. They have okay food. But I just go there and I start...
Their portions are way too big.
Yeah, but I mean, I fill up on bread anyway. I'm like, I eat a bunch of bread, then I'm going to get some more because it's free. It's complimentary, technically. And I actually asked... Like Molly did, because Molly works Cheesecake Factory, by the way, but Molly did mention that they in theory can cut you off at some point, but it's never happened. It's never happened to me. And I just keep asking. I'm like, get some more bread. Get some more bread. I order food too, but then my food comes, I just take it home usually. And I just keep eating. I just mainly eat bread while I'm there. Boomer fucking hates bread. That's very true.
That is very true.
Well, okay, to be fair, I actually love bread. I hate the concept of people making it at home.
But why? It's literally not. But how is
it affects me?
Emotional. How?
It just does.
You can't say emotionally. No, you have to describe it.
I can't believe we've done an hour and 50 because we started on time. We've done an hour and 15 minutes of the podcast.
Please just title this fucking podcast "Boomer Hates Bread."
I really think it has to be because that's been the line. It's Boomer Hates Bread and Hooters. That's been like the majority of the podcast.
Boomer Hates Bread and Hooters.
Actually, okay, I do hate Hooters too, but not to the same degree I hate bread, and it's a more legit reason I like Hooters.
Why are you so pressed about it? You haven't gave like an actual reason about why you're pressed about it.
Canceled events, because we don't need to make bread anymore. We've moved beyond this.
Okay, but who said that? Who said that?
Look, we don't need to make cheese or pasta anymore, and people doing that too.
Okay. Making cheese is a little different. You can add your own. Okay, you did it.
How is it different? You're making it from scratch.
Hold on. I need a minute.
At home.
I need a minute to come back. I'm like legit like about to like listen. I don't even know why. I'm getting so irrationally angry.
Because
you guys can't.
It's irrational.
No,
it's irrational.
You guys can't see, but like my leg is like shaking like a fucking like rabid dog, and I'm like breathing like I'm trying to calm down. I'm about to lose it, guys. This is too much. I fucking. Why are you dragging this out of me, Konaru? I hate it.
Dude, I want to figure out why you're so pressed about it. My question. If you just answer my question,
and it's funny because
go away.
I didn't notice I was doing it until I noticed I was doing it, and I'm ready to like explode. Okay, man, calm down.
Brett touches the boomer in the no.
Oh,
I like that, Leslie. Thank you, Leslie.
How this topic just keeps going. I don't want it to. I'm trying to get away from it. Brett. Oh my god. No, I'm legit about to lose. No, it's funny. It's funny because, by the way, to the person who's laughing about how it keeps going over and over, this topic actually started like an hour ago, and we keep coming back.
An hour and a half ago, actually.
We keep coming back to it. It was like the first thing. I'm like, Janet, how have you been surviving quarantine? And she's like, I baked bread. That was the first thing you said, and it set me off immediately.
That was not the first thing she said.
Okay, actually, she did mention work from home first. But when she moved on from working from home, the first thing she said was like, I made quarantine bread, and I'm like, stop, no quarantine bread. And here, okay. Guys, you're gonna give me an ulcer, I swear to God.
Good.
Oh my God.
You're giving it to yourself. I have to be pressed about it, but you are.
Like, Manuel, I do have to wonder, like, is there something you need to tell us? I do not want this to be why you, like, pop a vein and have an aneurysm and die.
I'm like so antsy right now. Oh my God, okay, man. I don't know why. It's legit. I said it like 10 times already. It's irrational. There's no reason I could pinpoint. Maybe it's
but so is your anger.
Maybe it's Night of the Living Bread. Maybe it's fucking Subway. I don't know. But it's there. I can't stand making bread at home. I don't know why. And I can't. Okay, I honestly couldn't stand it before. Like for those wondering, it's not like I've only developed this now. Whenever I would go to like a friend's house and like their parents be making bread, don't get me started on bread makers. Please tell me you guys are at least using your oven in a normal setup.
Yeah,
obviously.
Okay. No, because there are a thing called bread makers, and don't get me started on bread makers because that is a whole nother. That's a bigger fucking beast that I will fucking die on that hill.
That's expensive. I'm poor.
No, I will die on that hill. You do not need a fucking bread maker. That's a fucking oven.
You really don't.
You really don't.
At the very least, if you're gonna...
Boomer hates Pillsbury Doughboy. I love it.
I'll fucking kill him. But anyway, you guys are making me lose it. But no.
No. It's honestly on you because we have no problem with it. You're the one with the problem.
Okay. If you're gonna make bread, at the very least, you guys do it like that. But I'm not gonna lie, like I was saying earlier, like I've gone to friends' house, like their parents be making bread in a bread maker, and I'd be like, "Why are you making bread in a fucking bread maker? Use your oven. Why are you making bread at all? There's a fucking loaf of bread on your fucking table over there in your pantry. I'm not touching that bread.
Where is my bread? Where's my bread in my pantry?
I'm talking about to my friends then. But you can go buy one, get a fucking. I will send both of y'all loaves right now. I will go to like your local Instacarts and I will like spend like $100 to send both of you guys bread. So you guys stop making your own.
If it makes you feel better, I made the one loaf and I haven't made it since.
Okay.
I've been making like one loaf. I've been making one loaf a week.
Oh my god, Konaru, just
no,
quiet.
Okay, no, but I do it in like these cute little rolls, like so that way you have like some that can be already divided and you can just like eat one a day or whatever.
Oh my god, Janette almost calmed me down by just saying she only made one, and then Konaru was like, "Well, I've been making one a week." I'm like, Konaru, please.
I have all this starter. What can you do with all this starter? Just sitting there and then it like dies and drinks alcohol? I'm not gonna make my own alcohol. Do you want me to talk about making my own alcohol? I'm pretty sure you'll be pressed.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I kind of want. I'd be more pleased hearing about making your own alcohol.
Are we making our own alcohol now?
Okay, so actually I know how to do it. You just make like a sourdough starter. You just leave it there for like you feed it like regularly, and then after that you just stop feeding it. And
you
after a little while,
regularly. Like it's a like
no,
a
you feed no, shut up. You feed it flour and a little bit of water, like
I know
day.
What you mean, but still, like the way.
And then like after a while, you just like stop feeding it, and then like after a couple of days, like maybe a week, it'll turn into like alcohol.
I mean, I do think that is the process, but it still sounds funny the way you say it. You feed it, you make it happy, then you starve it, and it becomes alcohol. It like loses all sense to live.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, don't you?
That is
whenever you lose a sense to live, you want to drink, you want to become alcohol.
You want to become alcohol.
Real talk. Why are we not making like our own quarantine alcohols right now?
Are we about to moonshine? Because I'm in the mountains. I can do that.
I mean, I got nothing better to do, I guess.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna make my own moonshine.
That kind of calmed me down.
I know how to calm Manuel down. So one of the cafes here, they're selling like grocery kits and whatnot. And one of their kits was a mimosa kit.
Why do we have 9 viewers? Who the fuck? Wait, no! Stop!
It went down to 6.
It went down to 6 because I calmed down. No, I'm not letting this go. I'm. Oh my god. No. We fucking had. We had a spike in viewers because I was losing it about bread. Y'all just wanted me to see me die on stream, didn't you? Y'all just wanted me to like lose it and be like, "Oh shit, guys, I'm losing it." Fuck you guys.
Get me on the podcast. I'll annoy with. Oh, that's another thing. That's another thing you can get pressed about too.
No, don't get me started on that. No, because we were talking. Okay, it hasn't happened, but we were talking about the fucking fire alarm that when the battery needs to be changed, it'll like beep. Like, okay, it doesn't go this often, but it'll be like beep, 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 and that fucking annoys me. I actually dismantled the fire alarm at an apartment I used to live at, because the battery would drain so fast. And I don't know why. Something was probably wrong with it. It was like just draining the battery. Like it would literally last like less than a week, like maybe 3 days. And it got to the point when I was just like, this thing is annoying me more than it'll ever save my life. So I just like, I broke it. I unscrewed it from the ceiling and just left the hole there because it bothered me that much. And you guys weren't on this podcast, so we did a podcast on Saturday, and my fire alarm went off during the podcast because like somebody was making food here and like set it off through the smoke, and it was so funny because I had never heard the fire alarm here in this house before. I had never heard it, so for the first time I was like, "What is that sound?" Like it sounded like a storm alarm or something, and I'm like, is the purge started? Like, what the fuck is going on? And then I had earphones in, so I couldn't really hear where it was coming from. And I come to find out all of our fire alarms in this house are like Wi-Fi connected or something. So when one goes off, they all go off. It doesn't matter if there's actually smoke in the other rooms or not, which I guess makes sense. But I've never had to deal with that. But yeah, they all went off in the house at once. So it sounded like it was coming from everywhere and nowhere because I was wearing earphones. And I was like, oh my god, it's like let's like start arming ourselves or whatever. But oh my god, I still can't get over that. I can't believe our viewers like spiked because I was like about to have an aneurysm over bread.
You should just title the podcast Boomer has aneurysm over bread.
Oh,
That'll probably get us a lot of like clickbait views.
There's a Bang Bros porn video. Like, if I shouldn't name the company, oops. It's just, but there's a Bang Bro. Oh, by the way, Bang Bros are not like. Okay, well, I'm not gonna go with that. You know what? I'm gonna stop talking about the company. But there's a porn video that I was mentioning because
why are we talking about this?
Because a friend of mine sent it to like me and my friends, and they're like, "Watch this video and tell me if you notice what I noticed." And when you watch the video, all you hear in the background is beep, beep. And it's fucking annoying. It's like, who the fuck filmed this scene in someone's house? And it's through a big company. It's not like some couple like, you know, doing it themselves at home. Who filmed this scene in someone's like big ass like porn mansion and didn't change the fucking battery that's beeping the entire scene? So yeah, that's the thing in the chat. But I can't believe our fucking viewers spiked because I was fucking. I feel like physically tired. Like that took so much out of me. Like you guys don't even understand. At the worst of it, like I wasn't joking. Like my leg was like shaking like crazy. I was shaking like crazy. Like, I was losing it. I was ready to explode. And then people are like, I don't know if someone shared it or if it was just like people who were tuning in decided to stay because I was losing it. Because like that was some insanity. And then they want Janet's like, I know how to calm down, Manuel. People just like, oh man, fuck it, I'm gonna leave. I love you guys for watching, but also, I mean, between you and me, fuck you. That was kind of funny. Fuck you, but that was still funny. I meant to say, it was. I would do it. That would be me. So I can't really be upset, but still. Oh man.
Why are you so pressed though?
We had topics, like, and it's funny because usually I like to like not wrap it up. I like to start wrapping it up at now. I like to start thinking about like, let's finish our points, and we haven't even started the topics. It still says canceled events, and it said that for like 20 minutes. I feel sorry for anyone who's like, and I do know they exist because I could see it in the watch times on the channel. I mean, on YouTube. So I do know people do scrub to content. And obviously, especially in our more idol-centric ones, they'll definitely scrub to content because then they'll see it, they'll watch that segment, and like that's it. They'll comment on it maybe. But I feel sorry for people scrubbing through the things here because they're like, wait, I came to cancel events and they're still arguing about bread. It's like, stop. But anyway.
Yeah, sorry everybody. I guess, I don't know. Am I not? Does it matter anymore?
Does anything matter anymore? There's no events to go to. Everything's canceled. Ticketmaster is changing their
Ticketmaster fucking doing some shady shit here.
I didn't even know they could.
Did you see that Ticketmaster like actively tried to apply for a bailout?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Screw them.
Ticketmaster is the scummiest company ever. I see it's Bang Bros. Bang Bros. I can't believe I said Bang Bros live on the podcast. I'm a dumbass.
I cannot believe you said that live.
I'm definitely gonna use the Bang Bros tag, but oh man, I gotta shut up.
Gonna get us in trouble.
I am. If anyone wants to know that scene, DM me on some sort of platform and I'll send it to you. Actually, I meant to send. I think I looked it up to send it to Isaiah and I never did. Because, I mean, honestly, like, I'm not going to judge you for watching porn, but it's mainly, you want to see DM me right away. No, what's hilarious is that you can hear my Twitter, you can hear my notifications because they're through my speaker, and I'm displaying the sound through the speaker. So if for those of you watching, that was somebody DMing me. I won't say who, but that was somebody DMing me right away.
Boomer got stood up by bread. Is that what happened, Manuel? You got stood up by bread?
Wait, we have 8 viewers again? What is going on? Are you guys waiting for me to lose it about bread again? Or you guys really want to...
Yes.
Usually,
don't worry, it'll come back. But yeah, Ticketmaster is being shady. They changed the cancellation policy to basically... Okay, they changed it so that you can no longer get a refund if a thing's postponed. To be fair, I've never gone... I hate going to Ticketmaster. I don't think I've ever bought a ticket to Ticketmaster. But because they're the biggest, this will probably trickle down to all the other companies eventually. But Ticketmaster's always been shady. They have their own resale site that they make money through. So, like, all the ticket scalpers who buy a ticket through their service and then charge you, like, 10 times the price, they get a cut on both ends, which is bullshit. Boomer screams at Bang Bros. What the fuck? Oh, Boomer screams Bang Bros. I actually did scream Bang Bros. I was like, Bang Bros. Because the thing above it said Bang Bros with a lot of O's. I did this. Janette, stop letting me say Bang Bros.
You're
invite me to the Discord. I'll get you a Discord link. Let me get it.
Are you inviting to our Discord, like to the podcast Discord? He's gonna pop in and ruin the layout. He's gonna beep all over the place, like beep, beep. Oh my god, Konaru just straight up put it. She didn't put it in the fucking. She didn't DM him it or do it through a whisper. She straight up put it in the chat. Oh, the ADJ
Why not?
Discord. Okay, actually, that's fine. I thought you put our Discord chat, like the one we're doing the podcast in.
No, I'm talking about the ADJ Discord. I thought he was talking about the ADJ Discord.
No, I think he wants to be in our chat, like the one. For those who don't know, we actually are using Discord to put. The
I should totally do that. You know what? You gave me a better idea. I'm totally doing that.
No, don't do that because other people will join it.
Can I actually do that though?
Yeah, like
I don't think so.
No, you can't actually. It's because it's private. If it was like on a server, I think I could have done it.
Oh, okay. You're right. It is just a DM. So we can add people if we're already friends. I'll add Max. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Max, by the way.
Happy birthday, Max. Anyway, so I forgot what I was talking about. I was gonna calm Manuel down with alcohol, and then I forgot.
No, people disappeared again because Manuel stopped losing it. I swear to God, somebody probably that person who was in there when I was really losing it, and I still never found out if. I'm pretty sure that they don't watch us. They probably just stumbled across us on Twitch. We do get those people every so often, so they probably stumbled across us, heard me talking about bread, probably went to Twitter, and it's like, hey, this guy's screaming about bread, and then like a handful of his friends or their friends or whatever decided to jump in and have a good time watching me almost have an aneurysm. Dude, like, which I don't want to alarm anyone, but I still feel so out of it from all this. Who is sending me all this? Where is this coming to? Are you tagging me in post? Oh, I'm dying.
Yeah.
Please post the menu for your time. Boomer hates. Oh my god! Tipu already liked it.
Yes, I told him to.
Oh wait, what the fuck? I just saw this. This is like from 20 minutes ago. What the fuck? I'm so mad.
Well, I mean, the Boomer hates bread happened 20 minutes ago, so.
Sorry, I'm gonna read the Boomer hates bread. Boomer hates bread. Why am I barely hearing all these notification sounds right now? Is somebody sending me something on Discord and I just can't hear it? Oh, I can't look at the A to J Discord. Because if I do, it'll leave this. Anyway. You know what? Let's not even try to do that. Let's just talk more about quarantine. We're not even talking about the event stuff. Because we don't have enough time. I was gonna talk about how online events aren't gonna happen. But then I kind of feel okay, to be fair, the one that Konaru is about to be on this weekend, I feel so lightheaded. I'm like, am I okay? Am I okay? Oh,
no,
man.
You're not okay.
But the one Konaru's gonna be on, I'll still be surprised if it happens, even though it's this weekend. Yeah, somebody posted an AJ. I can see the notification, but I can't click on it. God damn you guys. I closed the AJ chat. Sorry if anyone was talking to me on Twitch. God, Janette, take it over. I think I'm dying.
Anyway, so online events. A whole lot of companies, whole lot of cons are doing them right now because they're just like, well, people want to do something. And on the one hand, it's not the same. Like, yeah, I can put on a costume at home. I can get drunk at home. I can be in a video call. I'm still in my house. Like, the energy isn't there. You're hearing it a lot of, like, I listen to NPR sometimes at home because it's just there. And one of their shows, they're doing like a weekly talk with various comedians who do like online Zoom comedy shows, and they're just like, yeah, it's, it's there, but you're not getting, like, feedback or energy, and it's a little weird.
Like,
so, like, I think the good thing about the online cons is, one, some of that video content will be available later in regards to, like, some of the tutorial stuff that, like, Arda is doing and some of, like, the seamstresses and stuff are doing. That's good content. Two, if you've wanted to workshop a panel, now's the time. Now's the time to practice a panel, because you're just like, now I can try and fine tune it. Now I can see what I need to cut down, what I need to stretch, because you know what? Fuck it.
I see 3 huge problems with this. The first one, I think, is the biggest one why most of them will never happen, is that
EvNets?
Huh? Oh, I fixed it. Yeah, you guys are making fun of me. I fixed it. Don't worry, it'll pop up as events. The 3 things. The first one is that everyone's doing them, and I don't mean everyone. I don't mean just everyone, as in the big companies, like just like the cons themselves that are not happening. I mean everyone. Like, okay, I'm gonna be real. I'm just gonna call it what it is. People might hate me for saying this straight out, but this has brought out a lot of like very like. I don't want to be mean like this. I would never use this term otherwise, but I feel like they're taking advantage of the situation. You get a lot of like really like unknown, like low-level-y cosplayers who are like clearly clout chasing. They're trying to start their own online cons, and I'm like, okay, your event page has like 3 people going to it, and and your cosplay page has like 50 likes, and yet you're trying to like get all the people to like join on, like trying to make an actual con. And this isn't just like 1 or 2 people. This is like literally hundreds of people trying to do this. And first of all of those are not going to happen. I'll be like, prove me wrong, but I still swear to God that not a single one will happen. At least not the way, not the thing they're promising. The second one is, well, first of all, and even if you don't count them, there's too many big companies. And when you're online, you can't just like have 10 competing online conventions, quote unquote, at the same time. Like, it's just not going to work. But then the second thing that's really, I think, is really going to shoot them all in the foot is that it still takes all the same amount of planning. It's not like because it's online, it's quote unquote easier. It's actually probably, I think it's worse, because when you do an event and people show up to it, you're there and you could already like either count on them or not. But when somebody's at home, like how the fuck are you gonna like? Remember when fucking Ruby didn't show up on the podcast last week, Konaru, and we could not get in contact with her? Imagine that across the board. It's like that's what all these cons are gonna be, and you need to.
It's not. It's not just like people forgetting. It's also just like everyone's at home and internet is crazy. Like in the last say couple weeks since I've been working at home, like one of my coworkers had internet go out for a full like 24 hours.
I actually had that tw
Yeah.
I had that happen too.
Like, service is just bad right now.
Well, because everyone's using the internet, and usually like a lot of the local peoples are like I don't know what the word is, the proper word to use, like the local like servers or whatever are probably all overloaded right now technically. And of course there's kind of, depending on what company we have, there's also all sorts of like other backroom practices like throttling and whatever that might or might not be going on.
Like, even if everything went okay and everyone showed up on time and you had enough people interested, like, our infrastructure was not meant for what we are trying to do in like residential neighborhoods, and it's a nightmare. When my internet went out last week, it went out like in the middle of a meeting for me. And I called and they're like, oh yeah, it's just a small service outage. And then I did some work and I took a nap, and then I woke up. I'm like, okay, maybe it's back online. And they're like, oh no, it might not be fixed until tomorrow. And I'm just like, I'm mildly inconvenienced. I can't imagine what it's like for other people that actually need to be online, let alone everything else. Like, I keep seeing stuff that like, oh, Europe's going to start throttling bandwidth, and American providers are going to start throttling bandwidth.
Yep.
Netflix and Facebook are trying to figure out ways to throttle bandwidth.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think most of these companies have already stepped up by like limiting like the quality they'll send out. Like I think you can't watch 4K on Netflix anymore. I remember reading that somewhere. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But there's certain services that don't have the higher end streaming. What's what I'm looking for? The quality anymore. Like you can only watch like normal HD, God forbid, or even standard. Which, for the record, I hated that those are usually turned on automatically anyway. Like, I had to recently like yell at some of my friends who are like eating up crazy amounts of bandwidth because like they're just watching all their shit in like 4K, and it's like, dude, it's like you're watching a show and you're using up gigs and gigs of bandwidth watching like one thing. It's like, what the hell? I don't know. Maybe you think about that too much, but yeah, the infrastructure here in the U.S. is a joke compared to most of the countries, and we're supposed to work from home and do all of our schooling and everything else online. Conventions, apparently, yeah, it'll never work.
Yeah, it's just. And the last one, it's not going to be the same feel. Like, yeah, it's a fine proxy, but it's like watching the live streamed concerts.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
like, I get it.
Like.
Oh my god, are you pressed about this too?
I just don't see. Okay. I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna start another argument this late in the podcast. I'm not gonna have that argument. This later. Yeah, we'll save that one. But similar to Janette was moving on, that's my last point, is that it's not the same. Like, these events don't transfer to online. Okay? They don't transfer to online things well. What's I gonna say? That, like, panels, like, we can't do our she's like running. Most of our panels we can't do online because, like, they use, like, copyrighted content. Like, because we do panels on music. I can't, like, we could barely upload those to YouTube, let alone stream them. I don't know how we could. You were gonna say? Yeah, have you not heard of these conventions online? I don't know. At one point, sorry, I was reading the chat. There was a long comment on there I just saw. Said comic book YouTubers. See, it's one thing. It's one thing if like, say, a small group of people, like if we at A to J, for example, there's like about 20 of us active. Well, maybe a little less than that active, but there's about 20 of us like around that we could probably pull in if we needed to. If we decided to run an event and like maybe Callie did like a fucking like sewing thingy showing how to do cosplay, Janette baked fucking bread, and so on, we could probably do that. But we're talking about a convention that in theory would be what some people are planning. Like, there's one that Nerdbot's trying to plan that in theory would have a ton of programming, a ton of guests. It's that level that I don't see happening.
Well, I mean, like, Arta Wigs is trying to do like an ArtaCon.
Yeah, like, once again, those are tinier things. I've actually not heard of At Home Comic Con. Is that like another big collective? And that's the problem. Jumping back to the very first point, I don't know if you guys, if you were here when I said the very first one, but the very first point I have is that I think there are too many big people trying to do them, and that's first and foremost. But there are countless. I can't tell you how many groups I'm in Facebook, like the Anime Midwest Facebook group, the Anime Expo fans group, the FanimeCon fan group, the what's the fuck's that Texan one, the Acon, like Facebook group or whatever. How many times I'll see somebody pop in the chat, "Hey guys, I'm starting an online convention. If you want to be part of it, fill out this Google Docs thing." And it's like, once again, I don't want to use I would normally not use this term, but I do feel that they're trying to capitalize on it by gaining some like clout in the community. But they're like nobodies. They're like people I've never heard of before. It's like, who are you? I'm willing to put money down that you've never worked a convention in your life, like staffing or volunteering, especially higher up, to know how to program. I mean, how to like fill programming slots. And for the record, I'm not saying I do either, which is why I'm not trying to do it. But you have all these people trying to do it as well, and it's just like, and then I don't want to jinx it by saying this, even though the situation we have right now is not ending anytime soon. It's definitely, at the very best, we're in the middle of it. At the worst, we're probably still like at the beginning, but we're at best the middle of it. It's still going to end soon. Oh, okay, let me rephrase that. It's still going to end.
It's still going to end at some point.
Yes, and some of these people are acting as if like they have all the time in the world. You have to move if you want to do this at all. You have a very finite time period to do it in.
Boomer hates BreadCon.
Oh my god, I hate you.
Leslie's becoming my favorite person right now.
But yeah,
Leslie's gonna get promoted to mod.
Believe it or not, I actually do have a lot of things to talk about. I just like lost it about the bread, and it's funny because like I don't want to come back to the bread thing.
Don't start up on it again.
But like I've actually brought this up before, so this is not the first time. The first podcast that we've even brought this up on. Man. But yeah, that's my thing about online cons. Konaru's apparently doing one this weekend, but I don't think it's gonna happen. She's doing it this weekend, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't think it'll happen without a hitch. Go on.
Yeah, I would sooner see, like, I see some voice actors and stuff just like doing, impromptu Q&As and things, and that, that's fine and that's doable. And they're just like, hey, I'm having like an AMA on this day, or I'm doing, like a live stream on Facebook on this day. It's like that works. But a lot of the things at a con just, how do you replicate that feeling? How do you replicate that anything?
Yeah, and let's be
I'll
real.
report back. Like I said, I'll report back when I tell y'all how this actually went.
Next week we'll do this topic more legit.
Yeah, because like I'll at least have like time to like how at least one of these kind of run, and I mean so far it seems just like Twitch but multiplied. That's like the best way I can describe it.
It's like for like your con, is it just going to be a bunch of idols dancing in front of their computers?
No, we're actually doing like informal stuff, and we're gonna have like little chat rooms where we can like talk and everything. Like I'm doing apparently like 4 panels.
Is it happening on Discord or is it happening on Twitch?
It's happening on Discord, but
Discord makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Because to be honest,
if you set up like a Discord and then you had a whole bunch of different channels that people could like kind of hop back and forth to, that might be fun.
Yeah, no, that's what this at least this event, that's what they're doing.
I'm gonna go in and just ruin all your chats.
No.
Wait, what day is it on?
It's like
Saturday
and Sunday.
Get mad.
Yeah, we're just gonna talk about bread. I'm having a whole bread.
I know.
And
a bread panel. Shut up.
You're gonna be my special.
No special bread guest. I'm just gonna like be fucking upset. Just like lose it and.
I want to have a bread podcast now.
Oh man.
Oh man, you want to do a bread cast?
Yeah, let's do a bread cast.
Stop.
We'll get Emily on. She I bought her a pizza stone for her birthday so she could make pizza and bread.
It's funny because I don't know about Emily's like potential about being on the podcast. Well, I mean as in like now anymore after what you told me. But she was one of the people I'm like, hey, we have all this time, want to be on the podcast. But now I don't want to even ask you because I don't want to have this whole bread argument like again. But yeah, I haven't. It's funny because like everyone's home, and the people who are able to do have way freer schedules. Like Konaru is not as like crazy schedule wise, and me, I just fucking sleep all Tuesday now. But no joke, my sleep schedule usually means that I wake up when the podcast would begin. So I actually have to like get up earlier. So like before the podcast began, I was actually like dozing off in the chair right here before we start. Like not before I went live like with them like in the pre show, but before that I was just like Boomer sleepy, Boomer hates bread, dreaming about like punching a fucking loaf, a homemade loaf though, mind you. I don't know why I'm getting angry. I need to stop. Can't wait to go online and go to my new favorite Boomer Hates Bread panel. Oh my god, stop.
Yes, it's gonna be this weekend. Just please join.
Wesley has been on the podcast before. He was actually on the podcast we did on was it hentai specifically, or I forgot what that topic was. I think it was hentai. I think it was like legit just a hentai podcast, wasn't it? Right? I'm making that up.
I don't know. You're making it up.
Help me out, Wes. I can't remember if it was just on hentai or what. but we had a semi like it was still like PG-13, and we kept the topics kind of clean. Remember, it was one that Leslie was on as well, but but anyway, oh man, let's start wrapping this up actually, because I guess we're just not gonna get to our topics, and we kind of did. We rushed through them, but I guess we'll cover them more later. Are you ever gonna make any more bread this week, Janet?
I don't think so. I actually have one of the things I've actually been very good about is designing like meal plans so that I actually cook regularly and that we eat vegetables, because God, it's so important to eat a vegetable right now. Oh my God, please eat a vegetable.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, everyone. Like, I actually used to, I don't think I've eaten a vegetable since this all started, except if it was like mixed into something. And even then, it's not because I made it. It's probably because I ordered from the place that had like, I bought like a bowl that had like green onions in it or bell pepper.
That is barely a vegetable.
Yeah, but like I haven't had a salad, and believe it or not, I actually do. I do usually eat a lot of salads, but my whole diet has become like, I made the joke about talking about this, and we never did, about like doing a food adventures topic where we talked about like basically how every meal has become an episode of Chopped, because like I don't know about you guys, but I can't really get. Well, now it's kind of changed, because I did mention that the shortage are mostly out in my area. I mean, mostly back to normal in my area. But back in the day, I couldn't get everything I wanted at the market. So it was like, I'm going to make pasta, but I got no pasta. I mean, not that bad. I can't think of a good example. So everything becomes like, I have a stale loaf of bread. I need to stop talking about bread. I have a stale loaf of bread, some ground beef, and some cheese. I gotta make a meal out of this. You know what I mean? Like, everything's become like that.
I am lucky in that I like to cook. I have been able to I had a bunch of things stockpiled beforehand. Yeah, so I've been lucky in that it's just open up my shit and be like, all right, this is what I got. I need to sit down and actually think about what I'm making. Like, what have I made in the last couple days? Like, I made pancit last week. I made pasta yesterday. I'm making carnitas on Thursday.
Not to interrupt real fast, Konaru, you might want to get a link to your event, because I think somebody's asking for it in the Discord. I mean, the Discord, the Twitch.
Yeah, let me get you.
But go ahead and go on, Janet. Sorry.
Yeah, so before this all went down, I actually had one of those subscription boxes to an ugly produce thing.
Oh my God.
So I've thankfully been getting regular produce. And I was like, oh, this is convenient for Janet.
Do they still? So they're still sending it even through this, right?
Yeah, they're just like, hey, things might be delayed. You might not get everything you want. I'm like, that's fair. I didn't get it, as it was. I only got it maybe once or twice a month anyway. But when they're like, hey, now you can select what's in your box, I take a look, and been eating a ton of kale because of that, because they always have kale. They have so much kale.
I don't think I've ever had kale in my life.
Kale is rough raw because it's super crunchy and it's super bitter, but if you saute it, it holds up a lot better than most greens. Yeah, we've trying to actually eat healthy is so hard when it's just I could just drink alcohol and eat cheese all day.
It's funny because actually, I mentioned last week that I've actually managed to lose a bit of weight, but most of that, I mean, for the record, I'm not really a small guy anyway, so losing a bit of weight is not exactly the most difficult thing for me. But I've lost a bit of weight mainly because first of all, I was sick for that week and I couldn't eat anything, but I only eat one good meal a day. And I've stopped drinking pretty much. I mean, I've drunk since that last time I said that, but I hadn't drunk for a month. So it was oh, what do you know? That was a lot of my empty calories.
Yeah. There's so many empty calories in alcohol, but consider alcohol is delicious. There's a beer place here, and on Easter Sunday, they were offering $10 growler fills. And so for $10, I got 64 ounces of the Lindemann Framboise. And 64 ounces. And 64 ounces of that is normally what? $30? Oh, it's so easy to drink right now.
Did you get it? I missed that part.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you drink it all?
I have half of it in my fridge still.
I would have drank it all right then and just been like, coming to meet you, Jesus.
No, that's what I was gonna tell you. So like one of the cafes here was doing a mimosa kit.
Oh.
And their mimosas are normally like $2 at the restaurant. And so I bought this kit, and it was 3 bottles of champagne and 1 24-ounce cup of orange juice.
What?
And they said, here's the container, mix all of that in here. And that's 96 ounces of mimosa. I'm like, my dude, you're telling me you put 8 ounces of orange juice per bottle of champagne?
That's insane. Well, I'm not gonna lie, that
Holy
sounds about
shit.
I saw like I don't know I don't know if I should tell this story. It's kind of like this story doesn't end well. But the last time I've gotten like shit-faced blackout drunk, like probably I think legit the drunkest I've ever been in my life, but definitely the drunkest I've been like in recent memory. It was off mimosas, and I remember it's a long story, but I actually knew because the place I went to was a dinner theater event, and I know the sound guy who was working there that night. He knows some of the staff, and I ended up asking him like, I was making the joke, like, how strong were those mimosas? And I mentioned I drink like 2.5 pitchers on my own, and he's all like, I think there's a whole bottle and maybe some change in each pitcher, and I'm like, what? I'm like, I drank that much champagne. First of all, I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't really know one could get drunk off of champagne. It was always my thought that you couldn't get drunk off mimosas. I thought I'd get sick before I got drunk, like as in like my stomach would hurt and I might be vomiting or something. I never vomit, but maybe just like I'll hurt so much I'll stop drinking. But no.
No. And mimosas go down so smooth. Like the day I picked that up, I drank a whole bottle of champagne by myself.
That time I went to Vegas that we were talking about, that we hung out with Janette, we were drinking. I love how that's the part I mentioned. We actually went to Stratosphere to go eat their buffet because it was cheap, and we were walking the strip that day, so we started at Stratosphere and went all the way down. And we went to go get. Actually, no, I'm lying. It was Stratosphere. Never, it was Stratosphere. Because we went to Circus another day. Because we went there because it was cheap. Stratosphere was cheap as well, but we went there because we started there that day. But we went to Stratosphere, got the buffet, and we happened to go on Sunday, and they had champagne brunch, and they did not card Kaz at all. I don't know if I should mention her name, but they did not card her at all. She was 20 at the time. They served her alcohol. I always loved them. Like, we should have reported them just for kicks, make the Stratosphere lose their liquor license. But maybe Kaz would have been in trouble too. I don't know how that works. But but they did not card her. I don't think she looks like she's 21. She looks like a kid, at least to me. But anyway, my point to tell you the story is they were serving some mimosas. We got drunk there too. But at one point, they ran out of mimosas, like the pitchers they were bringing around, like our server. So he just poured us champagne. And he did that for about 2 rounds, where he just poured us straight champagne. And as I was drinking it, me and Kaz were both like, I think the mimosas are mostly champagne. because it tasted like the mimosas, basically, but without the hint of orange. And even the hint of orange, I guess, isn't really there, because if no one has not had champagne before, it's like even lighter than wine, because wine still has that bitter flavor to it.
Well, I think it depends on the champagne you get, because some sparkling wines I've had have been really dry.
Really?
And others have been really sweet.
I guess I've been only in the sweet variety for myself.
Yeah, because I have had some that were just like, they hit so hard fast. But, like an easier going sparkling wine, you're just like, yes. And then you're just like, I have drank 3 bottles.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
So yeah, like TLDR, I think my limit is like 3 bottles of champagne and I'm out. Like literally. Which I guess makes total sense. I'm pretty sure nobody is meant to drink 3 bottles of champagne. I was at WonderCon, RIP WonderCon, by the way, because WonderCon didn't happen this year, which was supposed to be last weekend. I was at WonderCon 5 years ago. And back then, they didn't have all the crazy checks they have now. So you could just wander around outside, and there's this big fountain there at the Anaheim Convention Center. And at night they would call it Fountain Con, because people would go out there and just drink in front of the fountain, like from all the surrounding hotels. Like the Hilton and the Marriott both meet at that fountain, and they're really huge hotels. So I went down there one night, me and my friend were drinking, and they're passing around this bottle, and I threw it back and started chugging, and I tossed it to my friend. He started chugging too, and then both of us realized, like, as the chug was already like in our mouths, that it was champagne, and that shit had like frothed up like crazy, and both of us almost choked on it. We were already wasted, and so watch out, guys. Don't try to chug champagne. It doesn't end well.
It's too bubbly.
Yeah, it's like it's bubbly in a weird way. I guess it's kind of like beer the way it gets ahead, because like it doesn't foam up like soda. It foams up and it stays foamy. Like, you know, it becomes foam. It doesn't bubble. It becomes foam. Like, you know, that you have to like chew through or something. But yeah. Also, speaking of that, like I guess I'll wrap up with this. Janet kind of brought it up earlier about like work and everything like that. Everyone's gonna get it. Like. We kind of touched on this topic on Saturday. We're talking about the returning to normal and what that means. And part of the thing that we touched upon then was like, I wonder how cons are going to go. Because like, sure, I'm going to have fun again and I'll be hanging out with my friends again. I miss everyone, love them all. But I'm like, the days of passing around drinks, I think are gone. Unless you're really, really close to somebody, you know?
Yeah, I think the days of like passing around drinks with absolute strangers.
Yeah, because like I'd be like, hey, this person's a friend of a friend. Here's the drink I had, and they'll take it, and vice versa. If I wandered into a scene like that and somebody handed me a drink, I'm like, oh yeah, sure. So yeah, these days are gone.
I don't think we're doing that anymore. I don't think.
I mentioned this.
There's just so many weird little things that I'm thinking about, like when I go to concerts. You know, and I go to like a lot of punk shows, and people are just like throwing beers and throwing cups. Like, I don't know if that's going to happen anymore, or if that's going to be something that's like an ejectable offense.
Exactly.
You know, like whenever I hear people talk about, oh, you know, if we just followed protocols, I'm like, how do you? Like, I go to concerts and I come home covered in sweat that isn't my own.
Yep.
You know, like how do you?
Oh yeah.
How do you adapt to that? There's no way you can keep everyone at like a 6-foot bubble.
Like, you know, how do we? This is insane. Like, I don't know what the normal will be. I don't know.
We have that weekly meeting with my CEO, and it's just because I work for a big pharma company now. You know, the way he talks about things, like it sounds like we're going to be like this for a while.
Well, I mentioned that like, I have friends who work in hotels, and like one who works in the market, but I think this is across the board, that they're putting in installations right now to like protect them, like, you know, like the a lot of them already have it, but my point is that they had like kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They had temporary like plastic plexi shields or whatever, but now they're installing permanent ones, and in all the cases I've heard personally so far, permanent means permanent. Like, when this is done, they'll still be there, and that just blows my mind to go to. And by the way, I don't want to name the hotel. I don't want to name the person, but it's chain. It's not like working at like a Motel 6, you know, like this tiny little, you know, whatever. And it's like, oh shit! Imagine going to a hotel, and they're fucking behind a thing. And there's another friend of mine who works at a DoubleTree, and they're doing the same thing, and we're talking Hilton. So it's like, what? Like one of the biggest hotel brands. And a friend of mine works at Stater Brothers. They're doing the same thing to all their cashiers, and it's like, so every fucking store like that deals with like heavy traffic with the public is going to become like the ghetto ass liquor stores that were there behind the glass. And it just blows my mind. But then again, I mentioned last week that I really do think this will happen, in that it'll become another sign of a gentrified neighborhood. I mean, I'm not talking about like when this dies down. I mean like this time next year maybe, or this time 2 years from now. It'll become a thing where like we'll start looking down upon, oh, I have to shop at the market where they're still behind the plexiglass, you know. But then again, that's like way down the line. But mark my words, come back to Manuel in 2022 or 2023 or whatever, and I'll be right. Watch, it's going to become a thing where like it's almost like classist if you go to if you're able to shop, if your local market is open, without the glass. But I was mentioning this too. Like, I don't know if I'm the only one like this. I don't want anyone to go, ew, but let's be real here. I rarely wash my hands unless I had just gone to the bathroom. That's the legit truth. And as far as I know, that seems to be across the board. Because, like, I was mentioning this before, like, you know how many times I order a pizza, both, like, in a party setting at home or at a convention, and everyone just digs into it?
Yeah.
I mean, legit. Like, nobody washed their hands. I mean, presumably we've all washed our hands relatively recently if we used the restroom, but nobody washed their hands before touching that. And everybody just, like, would reach in, grab some shit. People, there's occasionally, like, the joke was like, oh, you touched that, you have to eat it now. But every so often, it's like, what the fuck? It's like, they'll oh, that pizza slice stuck, let me pull them apart, and then we eat the one that I was taking. And it's like, imagine that now. Like, I'd be like, pizza's yours. I'm walking away from this. Like, this ain't my pizza anymore. Like, you're eating all of it.
It's like I'm thinking, it's like, a lot of people share food at restaurants because it's just like, oh, I'd like to try a bite of that. It's like,
oh, yeah, it's the other thing. Like people like taking a bite out of like a sandwich, like, let me like a burger, like, let me have some, and I'll give it to them, and they'll take a bite out of it. Like, they won't cut off a piece, like, off an unbitten part. They'll just take a bite, like, next to where my bite was. And that's just like
you do that, or like everyone shoving their hands into like the same popcorn bucket.
Exactly. There's all this little shit where I'm just like, I can't imagine all these little things still happening anymore, and that blows my mind the more I think about it.
Like, normal is going to be drastically different, and like, that sucks. Like, we did this, the last time I think about, like, the last time in my lifetime that whatever normal was drastically different was after 9/11, because I remember before that, I had traveled to the Philippines as a child, a handful of times, and I remember, everyone just hanging out at the airport.
Yeah, I remember walking people to the
like,
gate.
All that stuff. Yeah, just hanging out at the gate. Like, you see it in old TV shows.
Yeah.
People hanging out at the gate, waiting for someone's flight to go.
Like, people would eat at the restaurants. Like, there'd be certain airlines that, like, oh, they have a really good restaurant. I'm going to go to the airport to eat there. Like, that was a normal thing people did.
Like, if someone was visiting, you would park your car and then you'd just hang out at the airport and wait for them to get in. Or if they had a flight, you'd get them there early. You'd both go through security and you'd just hang out and sit with them until they had to get on the plane. Yeah, but that's, like, a thing we don't do. That is a thing that, like, an entire generation of Americans does not even know that we used to do.
Exactly, and I mentioned it about conventions, too. And it's funny about conventions, well, it's the same thing as 9/11, I guess. We could trace the convention thing to one person in fucking Arizona, which, hilariously enough, is an open carry state, which I always find kind of crazy. That, like, you could walk in with the convention with a gun anyway, apparently. But, obviously intent. But thanks to one person who had horrible thoughts of, like, doing things at the convention. I won't name the person, but you can look up all the info on your own. Now every convention has become airport security, and I remember, like, this isn't even a long time ago. I remember when I could go to AX through any door. I could leave through any door. At any other big convention, you can't do that anymore.
Well, I mean, and along those lines, like, for years I was trying to explain to Jesse the yaoi paddle.
Oh yeah, the fucking yaoi paddle. Glomping?
Yeah, glomping, the yaoi paddle. Like, there are just things, it's like, when you talk about it, because, like, some of my friends are, like, 21, 22, and we talk about things like,
what?
Yeah, Konaru.
Yaoi paddles?
What do I do? Ew, don't talk about that.
See, that does not, that term does not spark the fear in her that it does in a lot of people.
No, I remember when you could buy them. Like, they sold them at the conventions, and people would get hit.
So Jesse and I, we watched a video that this person did that does a lot of, like, fun videos about, like, assorted anime merch. They did, like, a whole history of the yaoi paddle.
I think I know what video it is, and I'll have a link to it below. If it's not that one, I'll have a link to another one below.
I think it's Red Bards.
Yes, I think it's the exact same one. Yeah,
and it's a very good history of the yaoi
it
paddle.
is.
I remember Jesse watched it, and he's just like, you let teenagers basically have weapons.
Exactly.
And then were shocked when they beat people. Like, yeah, no, it was a different time. And, you know, like, how do we deal with cons now where it's like, you know, people are still hugging, people are still, you know, like how, you know, in Konaru's instance, how do you do like the handshake and the high touch now?
I know.
Yeah. Do
like there's all the talk about like the handshake is done, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, I mean, in life, you know, like we should, but then again, handshake's always been a weird thing, you know, culturally.
Handshakes are weird, but
yeah.
But you know, it's like, how do you do that? How do we handle autographs and merch selling?
Exactly.
You know, like when we first started going in on lockdown, I went and, you know, was buying groceries, and I have bad allergies, and it was, you know, just allergy season. I sneezed. A lady looked at me like I shot somebody. I was just like, I didn't mean it. You know, like, is that still going to be a situation?
No,
you know,
I mentioned, like, I don't think I tried to mention the story like twice, and I never got around to it. But I know Janet's heard it, and I think Konaru might have as well. But a while ago, it was actually early on too. Like, I imagine it happening now, and it would be even worse. It was like earlier on when this was first starting. Like, I was eating like some meat that we had made like at home, and I'm eating it. It's like close friends, you know, are around. I don't think we were even on lockdown yet. We might have been. I don't remember. But eating it. And I started like choking on a piece that I was like, oh shit, I didn't chew that right, I'm choking. And I was like going to a coughing fit. I mean, I'm pretty sure I would have been fine, like, even if, like, you know, I was fine, obviously. But rather than even ask if I was okay, and as far as I could tell, like, it was clearly I was choking on food. Everyone took a crazy step back and just was waiting to see how it play out. They're just like, let's see what ends up happening, if Manuel coughs himself to death or not. And I'm like, oh shit, no! Like, if that happened in public, that'd probably be the same situation. It'd be like, oh my god, or somebody would like kick me out. Like, you know, if that happened in a restaurant, I'd be like kicked out. And I think things like that'll become like a nervous tick that'll like never end. Boomer hates glomps and yaoi pedals. Yeah, actually, I've gotten a glomp before. Like, honestly, I feel like I gotten hit with the yaoi pedal. I don't remember, but I've gotten glomp before randomly. No joke. At a convention.
Dude, like every time I think about glomping, I had a friend,
and I didn't know the person. I should back up and say that, which is like the definition of glomping. But yeah, go on.
When I was younger, I had a friend who was cosplaying like one of the Oron boys, and she had like this really expensive ball jointed doll with her. And we're sitting down, she's chit chatting with me, and I just remember someone saw her cosplay and like jumped off a flight of stairs to try and glomp her. I was just like, oh my god. And she's like screaming at this person because, you know, they were going to ruin her very expensive doll, and why would you do this to a stranger? And it was just...
It was a totally different time. I remember seeing scenes like that, and usually the scene was so ridiculous because the person getting yelled at, and by the way, I say this even though I didn't see your scene, I saw that exact scene at least like once or twice a con. Like, at least. But usually the person who would do the glomping would be crying because they'd be like, why does everyone hate me? Or they'd be sitting on the floor crying or some shit like that. And then you'd look like the bad person who like either dodged their glomp, thankfully, or got glomped and got hurt and or had their stuff ruined. And I think, no joke, I don't know if this was your situation, Janet, but I remember at the time experiencing, like, even the time I got glomped, where it was almost like, you're at a convention, you're gonna get glomped. It's like, if you don't want to get glomped, then you're a horrible person, you know, kind of thing. Stop being so...
Yeah, it's like you were gonna get glomped, you were gonna get hit with a yaoi paddle, at some point you might have been groped.
Yeah. Oh my god, groping, that was like kind of... I don't want to say that was acceptable, because I don't think that ever... This is before...
I don't think it was ever acceptable.
Never acceptable.
I mean,
it was just so wildly more just...
It was... I don't...
There.
Yeah. I almost want to say it was accepted, because it was kind of the thing that, like...
It was... tolerated in a really upsetting fashion.
Yes, that's the way to put it.
Because I just don't think anyone knew what to do.
Well, yeah, because like back then, it's almost like crazy to think about it. Like, but back then, like, who did you tell? Like, the cosplay is not consent thing is pretty new. That's within, like, I think maybe even within Ada J's lifetime. Like, that's not a thing that existed when I first started going to cons for many years. And even then, it was kind of a slow uptake.
It didn't make it fine or okay, but it was just,
No, I mean, but like now everyone kind of has that, but everyone kind of has the cosplay's not consenting beat in their head. Like, I don't want to say, which they should, by the way. They should. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Yeah, I should back up and say that. But like, it's horrible to say, but as a community, like, I guess like people were kind of like, it's horrible to say this, but I really think this was the case. To most people, I was not one of them, but to a lot of people, I should say most, but to a lot of people, the idea was kind of like, what's the big deal? Like, and it's horrible to say, but I think that was the mindset. I can tell how many times, like, I would see, like, I never saw this part, like, happen, but I'm sure you could still go to old message threads or go to 4chan and read old stories or Tumblr. But I would read stories about people who'd be like, oh, I tried to report it and they were like, there's nothing we can do. Or like, well, it's like, it's not that big of a deal. Did he take anything from you? It's like, what, like, oh, but you're wearing a bikini cosplay. It's like, oh, what would you think would happen? It was like shit like that.
Yeah. That was just was, and you were just like, okay.
Yeah, we're talking a pre-cosplays consent, and even a way pre fucking, what's that? The hell's that movement called? I forgot what it's called. Shit. So help me out here. The
Me Too thing.
There you go. Thank you.
I'm so happy I could help.
I don't know why I could not think of it. I'm like, what is it called? And I literally couldn't even think of how to describe it. I'm like, the not groping movement. That should always be a movement. But yeah.
But in that same vein, after all of this,
we're
going to go drastically in the other way, where like getting hugged is such a huge no-no that like that gets you banned from.
That's exactly what I was thinking right now. It was funny because I'm like, we kind of got derailed and I kind of went too far into the whole glomping and how the cons were back then. But yeah, it's gonna be like,
man. we should have a retro con talk where we just talk about all the terrifying things that just used to happen.
Well, cons were a lot smaller.
I want to do that.
Cons were a lot smaller. I don't know what happened.
And they were a lot smaller and a lot scarier.
No, out of nowhere, the con population doubled. And it's not like it happened slowly. Like, you could look at any con's numbers, and it happened within a year. I don't know what made them popular, like, from one year to the next. And I'm pretty sure it's not correlated to like, you know what I think it was? I think it was like Marvel or something like that, because I don't think it correlates at all to anime sales, because those have like always been like consistently almost down. But it out of nowhere, it's like from one year to the next, every con doubled, including the comic one. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, related to that, I think because like Comic-Con started, like San Diego Comic-Con started becoming such a big deal, and just nobody could get to that.
I remember within my adult lifetime, like not that long ago, I was able to go to San Diego Comic-Con and register there for the next year with no fuss, like not even like wasting the day, not even like worrying about lines or whatever. I mean, there was a line, but I mean, like, I would go there, do my thing for like an hour or two because there was a line, and then I'd be like, okay, next year I'm coming, see you guys, I'm gonna go finish my con now. And that was it. I don't think they even do ad con registration for the next year anymore. And it's all through like that crazy lottery system or whatever. So yeah, like, it's insane the way the cons have gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's not wrap this up. I didn't even realize.
Like, do you? So like after this, do you think they're gonna like super hardcore drop con visitation numbers?
What do you mean?
Like attendance caps. Caps.
Those are gonna have to be. No, they're gonna have to be, because I think the years of the what like most people, not just myself, we call the pit. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to the LA Convention Center. There's this area in South Hall where like it's right in front of the main area where you go to the exhibit hall. Konaru, you know what I'm talking about, right? The pit. That's always a sea of people, especially the first day.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you could go to I think if you go to AX's Facebook page, you'll see like a picture of the pit like as their banner. Or if you Google Anime Expo attendance or whatever, you'll see a picture of the sea. It's a literal sea of people. It's like standing room, like, back to back, like, like people like front to back. I mean to say front to back, like the whole area, and it's like it's packed. I think those days are done. Those days have to be done. like at least for the foreseeable future. There's no way. First of all, if AX happens this year, there definitely has to be a cap, and a very, like, we're talking like maybe even a third. I'm sure it has to be. If we're still keeping 6 feet apart, there's no way that you can cap that at 120,000. I think it's what they do. I think it's what it is at now. No joke. There's no way it could be that high.
That's going to have to fall to maybe like a third then.
Exactly.
That's still too many people.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm pretty, like, I remember it still being kind of crowded at 40K, which is what it was for years. And that's what I meant. Like, it was at like 40 to 45K for about like the first 4 or 5 years it was at LA. And it still felt crowded at points. There were still points when it's like, oh, I have to move with the sea because I'm stuck in it. And so at the high end, the cap would have to be set that low. Even if it happens next year, I mention this each week we're on, because people seem to have this like this unfortunate idea that hopefully we find a cure soon. Hopefully there's a vaccine soon. It's not like the movies. The vaccine is not, even if the vaccine is discovered this second, like as we're doing the podcast, somebody discovered the vaccine. It works. It'll be at least this time next year that it's like fully rolled out, if even that soon.
Oh yeah, because like we have to get it. We have
to test it. Then we have to manufacture it.
We have to manufacture it. We have to get it shipped out. We have to get it in people.
And then all those things, all those steps, are gonna be full of bureaucracy, full of like governments like fucking it up. And I'm not just ours. I mean, like not even just national governments. It'll be a mess all across the board for a while. And that's the best case scenario. So yeah, it's not like the movies.
Heroes of cosplay made cons popular, I'm guessing. Huh? Fun fact, not necessarily. Because Heroes of Cosplay didn't come out until after I had gotten out of college. Because I remember writing about Heroes of Cosplay and making one of the people on it real mad. Cons exploded while I was in college. I remember cons exploding.
I remember when they exploded too.
Ohio by itself had a dozen cons.
Oh, and then of course there was the con club
every month.
Yeah. Like I think those years that Otakon Vegas is happening, we're at the height of the con glut, because I was going to cons like every month too. And by the way, by the height I mean like it went downhill from after that, because almost all the cons
it's leveled out.
No, all the cons I went to in 2016, I think half of them didn't survive after 2016, or 2015 I think was the last year I went to Otakon. But yeah, half of those cons I went to don't exist anymore. Kraken Con, Otakon Vegas, AOD. I can't even remember them all. And these are all just West Coast cons. These are in my microcosm.
Even some of those like small Vegas ones.
Oh yeah.
Lasted like 2 or 3 years and that's it.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is the peak was already dying by that point. But it's I don't want to say the peak was dying, but the peak of having 1 million of them was dying.
Yeah, well, I think people were like, oh, well, there's desire and hunger for event. There's desire and hunger for event. There's desire and hunger for event. And then like, oh no, the crowd can't actually sustain this. You know what actually kind of sucks about all this? So in recent years, I haven't bought a lot like at a dealer's hall, but I actually genuinely miss artist alleys.
Dude, I miss Artist Alley so much. I went to the Artist Alley at ALA once, and ALA has a nice one, and I just didn't go. And I never go to exhibit halls. I never go to cons. That sounds stupid because I go to cons, but usually I go to a con and I hole up in the hotel room. I party and drink there, recover, eat there, and then I do my panels and do my interviews and do like the A to J work. I do what has to be done, but I pretty much never see the con itself. And like maybe I'll go to a friend's panel, maybe I'll go to a friend's event, but the Artist Alley, maybe I'll go to that once. The exhibit hall, I probably won't even go. And now I regret that so much. I look back and I'm like, why did I spend all of ALA in the fucking hotel room? I'm like, that's the last con I'm gonna get probably this year until who knows when, and I spent most of it in the fucking hotel room. I had fun, but still.
Yeah, it's like, God, and you know, getting back to what was supposed to be our main topic.
Well, I'm still kind of talking about because now I'm still sad about the good years are behind us.
You know, are these online cons going to have links to people's like Etsy shops in these artists like super time of need when everyone's broke.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's like
everyone. If you
what are some of these dealers doing? Do they have online shops?
If you haven't, I mean, we're not exactly the biggest platform you can throw it on. But if you want to, you can put links in YouTube. They might consider them a shady link. But if you put a link to an Etsy shop,
put them in LinkTube, or we could feature them like on the Facebook page or something.
No, I was gonna say if you put a link to your Etsy shop in the YouTube channel, I promise you, because I do read the comments regularly. If I notice it's not a shady link, I'll allow it, because I think they will block it out. They'll flag it for me to look at later. I'll allow it, and I'll try to put it in the description. Because that's nice. And you can put it, if you follow us on Discord, you could definitely toss it all over our Discord, the A to J Discord. You can have fun with that. Or just, if you want to be really, you can even be extra and go to our Facebook post, just put it in the comments, and I'll allow it. And I'll probably even heart react it or something. So, but yeah, I agree. I have a lot of artist LA friends who are hurting bad. A friend of mine, because this is going to be one of the big topics, I don't feel like covering it fully, but Fanime canceled recently, which is a huge convention in NorCal. And they canceled. There's a lot of bullshit there that I don't want to get into. We don't have the time. But they canceled recently, as in yesterday recently. And a friend of mine's all like, all of the conventions that she was gonna like vend at are done. Like she's all like, this. She lost her year. I think AX is still happening technically, and that's one of her next one. She's gonna do a table at. But AX is probably gonna cancel this year. If it doesn't, I probably won't go, because I still think that it's too dangerous. But it's literally a homeless shelter right now. And they might be using parts of it as a hospital. It's already ready for that part. So, and that's like, as we speak, I don't see it happening. We're like mid-April and it's being used for something, that we need. But it's being used for something that like cannot easily reconvert.
Yeah, not in the time frame I would think.
Exactly. It would have to stop now.
Even if you move everything out, you still have to like then clean it all.
Yeah, it's the same. Like I think they would have to like start the process like this second and start getting it ready, basically, or like definitely by the end of the month. And if you don't know, LA's locked down until mid-May, so I'm sure that situation is going to be locked down until mid-May. So yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, like my friends and I were talking earlier. One of my friends is getting married in Japan next year. And I was just like, do you think we're actually going to be able to go? And one of them was like, I would be genuinely surprised.
I would too. Well, like...
we're talking like 10 months from now.
It's sad because I don't want to throw a lot of my personal stuff out there, but like a couple years ago, actually not a couple years ago, but almost 2 years ago now, I guess, I had like an overseas job offer. I'll leave it at that. But I did mention on the podcast when it was happening. I just won't mention it exactly. It didn't happen anyway, so it doesn't matter. But part of me regrets not taking it because it was in a country that is surviving this a hell of a lot better, weathering through this a hell of a lot better. And the reason I didn't leave is because I'm like, I don't want to leave my friends, I want to leave all this other shit. But I'm like, I'm not going to lie. It's like, if that opportunity comes up again after all this is done, which I doubt it will, to be honest, for a lot of reasons. But if it came up again, I'd be like, peace, I love you all. We'll talk on Discord, because that's apparently what we did during all this anyway. The same shit would have happened. See you all later, and I'll just take off. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. By the way, this happened in the chat like 30 minutes ago, but Isaiah mentioned how he remembers everything from like the past days of cons. That's definitely going to be a topic we're going to do during the quarantine, because I actually didn't mention this, but this is part 5 of the Quarantine Blues podcast, and this is definitely the last one. And by the last, quote unquote last one, I mean is that we're gonna have to talk about the quarantine, but we're gonna have back to big topics unless somebody brings up bread again and I just lose it, but that's a different thing.
Bread.
But I do want to do part 6. Oh god, I'm not gonna lie, in my brain I literally stopped. Part 6 I want to do when this is done, so we'll save part 6 to when this is done, or at least when it's on the horizon. Probably not when it's done, but like when it's when we get a date. this will be like, how did we survive? Is Manuel still crazy about bread? Which I'm sure I will be, because I'm kind of getting antsy just talking about it again. But yeah, so we're gonna do some other topics. Fun fact: I mentioned this on Saturday, and I didn't tell this to Konaru yet. Because they extended the quarantine in LA, if the math is right in my head, episode 100 will be the first episode out of quarantine, and I still want that to be the furry one. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Hopefully by then I won't be feuding with Sylvia, and I'll be able to comfortably ask Ren to be on, even though I should still be able to.
Stop feuding with people.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's not.
Make our lives hard.
It's funny because technically I'm working with this with like Sylvia, so it's like I'm not an enemy of hers. It's just that we're clashing over like bullshit. Like honestly, it's business stuff. We're clashing over the way we're handling things, and yeah, we're upset with each other right now. Yeah, I gotta stop. I'm gonna be like later on, not tonight because I'm gonna go sleep after this podcast is done. I've been tired, but I'm gonna apologize to her and we'll just move on. Why am I doing this? I don't dislike Sylvia, but here we are feuding, and then she'll be on the podcast. We'll see. She won't be, but anyways, we'll see. I don't know. We should wrap this up.
Yes,
you said that half an hour ago.
Yeah. Konaru, what do you even
said that
like Konaru's checked out. For those who can't tell, like in the old days, Konaru would have fallen asleep by now. She used to do that on old podcasts if you watch the longer ones, and she just like goes like this in the background because she's asleep. Like straight up. You know what I'm talking about, Konaru. Let's wrap this up. Thank you, Janette, for being on. We actually did do some good topic at the end, even though because we stopped talking about bread. But yeah.
You're the one bringing it back up.
Thank you, Janette, for
being
on.
You do this to yourself.
I didn't really comment on it, but I gave us all like fucking the cat names. I'm Manyaru, Janette, and Konaru. But yeah, so this is supposed to be a cute podcast that was an hour and a half of me losing it over bread. Well, thank you all for watching. I'm sure everyone was fucking entertained in the chat. Like, what the hell? They were watching me. They were hoping I'd have an aneurysm. Live on air.
There's still time.
I know there's still time. I can't believe that we were like peaking in viewers, and it's because like I swear to God, somebody was like, "Oh, Manuel's talking about bread."
Watch this dude lose his shit about bread.
I know.
Just clip out the whole segment of bread discussion. I should
just jump cut all the bread talk and that's the podcast. Old man
yells at bread. Can I actually edit that? If
I know old man yells at bread. And then like just keep inserting like a bread in the screen or whatever, and I'm just shaking my fist at it or waving a baguette.
Yes.
Like put a baguette in my hand and I'm waving a baguette.
If you actually take a picture of yourself,
I know, like I'm gonna go like this. Well, that'll be a thumbnail. I'm gonna go like this, and then you can just like superimpose like a fucking baguette. But anyways, wrapping it up. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. If you know what, if you enjoyed me almost like having like a fucking aneurysm, heart attack, ulcer live on air, I'm sorry, you definitely owe me a like. You owe a like on this video. Like, Konaru can't fight me on this one. I almost died for this podcast. Smash that motherfucking like button if you're on YouTube. If you're on Twitch, follow us or whatever. We should be affiliates soon. Sub to us. But if you can't do any of that, just keep watching us. That's great. I mean, please like it. I mean, all jokes aside, that helps. That helps. That's the easiest, freest thing to do to help. Comment below. I read and share every comment. And if you call someone out, that sounds terrible. But if you try to comment about someone specifically, I usually pass them along. Somebody commented on some of Tiffany's performance videos, like in a nice way. But they commented on all of her performance videos, and I pass those along to Tiffany. So, I do pass them along too. Technically, I'm not the only person who has access to the YouTube channel, but I'm the only one who really manages it, so I do read everything. Shout out to Ed and Kenneth, the current Patreon supporters. I found out you're not supposed to promote Patreon as much on Twitch. We've viewed it every podcast, and so does everyone else who's ever on Twitch. But apparently that goes against Twitch's terms of service, but I'm still going to do it. Patreon.com/DJConnections if you want to help us out.
Please give us $1.
Yeah.
$1?
It helps.
Just give me
$1. I will
50
send
cents.
you a picture of bread.
Oh my god, that pisses me off already. Don't give us any money.
If you give us $1, I will send Manuel bread.
That's actually really fucked up. Don't do that. I'm actually getting angry already. Please don't do this.
Do it, please.
But no, support us if you
send
can.
is a loaf of bread.
I'm so upset.
Send Manuel some bread.
No. Hold on. Konaru, I'm starting to get worked up again. We're done. I don't want to get worked up all over again at the end. Finally, it's over.
Actually, real talk. Send that bread to your local food bank. Those people.
Yeah, real talk. And if you really can't support us in these trying times, like, I'm trying not to laugh to say this because it is serious. If you really can't support us, I totally understand. That's fine. Keep watching us if you can. Like I said, that's once again the easiest, freest way to support us, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, it is what it is. If you can, no pressure. But it'd be great if you could, and they probably will send me bread if you do it. So, and I will get angry, and then I will regret even making this podcast. But there you go. And that's it. Peace out. Wash your hands. Practice social distancing. Don't go out unless you absolutely need to. Be safe. Be healthy.
Wear a mask.
Take care of yourself and everyone else. Wear a mask. There you go. Peace out. Good night. Thank you all for watching.
Good night.
Bye.